Good morning, everybody. It's Joe here, and I know you're not used to hearing my voice first, but we have what not so typical guest. Dan Repay is here this morning to host our show, and I'm here to produce it for him. Be his partner in crime. So we're gonna start off the day with some traffic and weather for you guys. The traffic has already started from the little glimpse that I got for you guys. It's obviously a little gloomy outside, and there's going to be some rain, so expect it to pick up. But most of 41 heading north is perfectly good, as well as the Skyway. The problems you're going to see heading into Chicago are going to be on 94 West. And that's really about it. The Stevenson Expressway seems to be fine right now. It's just a little bit of backup. You're obviously going to have the traffic from the construction on Klein. Other than that, it's really good right now, which I love because it means I don't have to spend too much time on it. And then as for the weather, today is April 16th. It's going to be a high of 70, so it's going to feel nice with a real feel of 71. As you guys could kind of tell if you were up early this morning, we're going to have some thunderstorm spots. Otherwise, it's just going to be some clouds, not giving a whole lot of weight to some sun. Friday, however, this must have changed since Tuesday because I don't remember this, but it's going to be a high of 82 and a low of 49, as weird as that is. But, yeah, there's going to be some morning fog. Other than that, you're just going to get a lot of clouds and sunshine and a real feel of 82. And then to round out the weekend, you're going to have a high of 57 with some early morning showers. And then Sunday, it will all cool down, and it will be a high of 51. And no rain. So that is your weather and your traffic for the week. Dan, is there anything you have to say to the people?
Well, I'm appreciative of the introduction of the not so typical guest. I like that, actually. It's absolutely true. I'm the guest that has come in because Jim needed someone to come in at 6 in the morning for free, and so he's recruited me, and I guess that's a good business model. You sell advertisement and have your host work for free. So I'm happy that you're here. I brought you a drink, although you seem as though that it's normal for you because when Adriana's here, she gets a drink, and so you thankfully drink the same thing she does. And, it worked out, and I'm glad that you're my partner because I'm going to need someone. Although it is open for recruitment right now, anyone that wants to wake up on Thursday morning at about 5 and then get all dressed up and then come here and pretend like you're solidly awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're more than welcome to apply. Just give me a call or email me. Here's the email, danrepay@gmail.com, and you can apply for that position because it is difficult to do by yourself. And 2, it's difficult to recruit people to come with you at 6 in the morning. So I'm happy to be here. And the weather is crazy. My day job allows me to look at the weather, but Friday night is going to be stormy. And when you looked a little bit confused when you saw the 48. There's this big storm coming through Sunday night. So if you have plans not Sunday night, Friday night, it's going to be a little bit of trouble. And I guess there's a concert at Notre Dame, some country, and I'm a country person. I just don't know who's playing, but everyone's like really stressed out because it's going to be really cold, relatively speaking, on Saturday night during the concert. So it's like 40-some degrees with winds off the lake. So if you're going to that concert, I don't know if it's Bradley Gilbert or whoever it is, but anyways, welcome everyone. It's April 16th, as Joe mentioned. If you didn't file your taxes, you're late. So hopefully you did do that. I had to do that. I had to pay. Did you have to pay, Joe? Or no?
I don't do taxes.
You don't do tax? Who does taxes?
I think I'm still.
You don't. You're still considered
I'm still with
dependent.
a dependent. Luckily,
good for you.
Bless the Lord. Still have a few more years, I think. Right?
Yeah.
What is it till 26? I believe.
25.
25.
I think. I'm not an accountant, but I think it's 25. That's what TurboTax told me. Because my son is 26, and I couldn't claim him, even though he's still in school and he doesn't have a job. So I think he's going to go the professional student route. But he's, I wish I could have claimed him. I had to pay, and it's really simple. They take your money very easily over TurboTax. So it's just, and I mean, I know there's accountants and stuff, but I mean, we're a
Well,
pretty simple operation.
my dad was kind of explaining it to me. I don't really understand taxes yet. I've been trying to learn, but he was explaining to me that it actually hurts him that I have a job and that he claims me as a dependent.
Because your income tax goes against his.
Yeah, because he's in a certain tax bracket, and then I'm like, I guess technically whatever the lowest possible tax bracket would be for my specific job.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how that works, but I just found that so interesting. I was like, dang, like that
Well,
hurts you you've been making me go to work, and you're like, you have to get a job.
Well,
And then
that's
you just,
good though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind my job.
I think that's great. I don't know exactly how the tax brackets work, but I do know. I mean, the key is as long as your employer takes out the taxes. What the pain is if your employer doesn't take out enough taxes, or you don't take the deduction to take enough taxes, then you're paying. And there's two schools of thought behind it. One, I'd rather pay because I have more of my money and I'll pay them on April 15th when it matters. And then some people get really excited, like, and you'll see the sales on TV, like, you could take your tax rebate check and you could come shop it wherever, the mattress place or whatever. And I'm like, I'd rather pay on the day that I have to pay as opposed to getting a refund just because they have my money. And I mean they, meaning the government has my money. I just pay what I have to pay. But it's just, it just takes so, I mean, for me, it takes so long because I just don't want to sit there in front of the computer like, okay, well, do you have any investments? Do you have any deductions? Are you claiming the standard deduction? And so thank you all the CPAs that studied really hard at all those schools that know how to do all these tax returns and tax preparers, but not for me. Like I said, QuickBooks told me it was going to take me an hour and 45 minutes based on last year's. I only finished it in under 5, so I consider that a good thing. It was only a couple breaks in between, but like I said, happy to have Joe as my partner. If you want to be my partner, if you want to call in, you want to talk, this is, as I've said in the previous show that I've been on, this is sort of an open mic for you to talk about what you want to talk about. Joe and I both said that, look, national politics specifically, for me, not my forte. I get it. Everyone talks about it. But, I mean, what are you going to talk about? Like, we both went to, by the way, this is going to be a great example of how a Bishop Knoll grad and an Andrean grad work together. I know it's odd for this station, and I'm going to catch a little bit of flack, but we can work together. We figure it out. It's just, both coming from Catholic education, I don't know if picking a fight with the Pope is a great idea. But
no, yeah, you kind of got to stand with the Pope here, right?
I mean, it's like, I really never got into a class that said, hey, you know what? Maybe the Pope could be wrong. No, it's not going to happen. So if you got a phone call, you just bring them on and we'll talk about whatever you got, traffic, weather, or anything.
There you go. Maybe even bring up national politics. And
you
put
can bring
Dan
up
on the
whatever.
spot.
You really can bring up anything you want. So go for it.
All
go
right.
ahead, caller. You're on the air, I think.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
I'm great. How are you? Who am I speaking with?
Oh, this is Jake. And Dan, you're on the river committee, right?
I am.
Very good. I'm just checking in. We got a lot of rain, and like you were just mentioning, we got some rain coming Friday. How does our river fare this week here? Does it look we're going to be okay?
Yeah, I mean, our system is working quite well. We're very fortunate that we are not the north suburbs of Chicago or Wisconsin. You've seen reports up there, pretty terrible. I mean, that's the bad thing that you don't want to see is storms that keep on running over the same piece of land or watershed. I know they're having some issues up at Kenosha. I'm on some advisory and some links and some some warning systems. And they've had some issues up there, and Joe had mentioned it that there is going to be storms on Friday, and I've said it. Hopefully for them it's okay, but for us we're fine. We actually were very fortunate. A lot of the rain that was projected for this week either split. I think we got one on Monday that split more South County than anything. But right now Thursday we're fine, and if I've always told people, you drive by the quarry on 94. That's actually a help for us. That water gets dumped in there when it's too excessive, and you can actually monitor how full it is. And so they have one of the very similar quarries up in Des Plaines off the Des Plaines River. And so if you're ever bored, you could go to the MWRD website and you look at I think it's quarry levels, and they will show you how much is filled. So that's it. Yeah, that's your weather report.
How does that? So does that water? I guess it just evaporates out of the quarry, or
oh
is
no,
there another,
it gets pumped. It gets pumped out. So it naturally comes in. I could tell you there's that little rest stop that used to be more of a rest stop on 94 as you go before you go Cicero or before the quarry. You'll see it, and actually the inlet for the quarry is tucked behind some wooded area. It's not a secret. It's a fenced-in station, so no one's going to be able to get into it. But at a certain level, it automatically dumps into the quarry, fills up, and then when they're done, or when the system is over with, and when the whole rain event is over with, then they slowly pump it out. And just to give you an idea, so the Thornton Quarry holds 9 billion gallons of water. And when it rained on Good Friday into Holy Saturday, it was a few inches. It filled up. I think they got it up to just over 3 billion gallons, so about a third of the way full. And so now they've just been slowly pumping it back into the system as the system allows for it.
So now, our beautiful river. We've made it through the winter. The beavers do okay coming through the winter. They're looking okay.
They're always out there. It's Mother Nature, so they know one thing, and that is to make their dens and block up the water. And so they do it, and we try to be mindful of that and try to have a balance. But if it's in the main channel, we have to get rid of it. Just for the flow perspective of the river, and hopefully they relocate themselves off the main channel, and then they can create it. I mean, they're wonderful creatures. They're very smart.
They're tough,
but they could cause some problems.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you guys taking care and looking out for the beavers. The beavers are a very important part of our life. So, well, thank you, Dan. You guys enjoy it. Have a great morning.
Yes.
And you sound great.
Yeah, you do the same. Enjoy your day. We have another phone call. 618. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Just wondering if you've heard any updates. You hear anything, and not so much updates, I guess, but I guess more or less to get your perspective, since this is like an open mic day.
Yes, absolutely.
And everything that's kind of going on with labor these days. You got BP, a horribly run international conglomerate, locking people out. You've got NIPSCO, some of the highest rates a human being could possibly pay for energy, locking their employees out. I don't know what's going to happen, but from what I understand, Cleveland Cliffs is going to have a contract coming up, and U.S. Steel later in the year.
Yeah.
And this just seems to be the more poorly run you are, the more likely you are to, obviously the only thing they can do is control labor costs to a large degree, is to kind of beat down the working person.
It is definitely a balance, and this is just what my feelings are. And I actually had a good conversation with a friend of mine. If you're NIPSCO or you're BP, and I don't want to get into Cleveland Cliffs because they're not there yet, but so the way I understand it is, you've got the linesmen saying, the people that are coming in that they bring in from out of town are getting $2-3 more an hour, and why is that fair for us? And from a management perspective, I guess if you're a shareholder of NIPSCO, you want your leadership to make as much money as possible. Conversely, if you're the recipient of it, you don't want that, because, really, what is our choice for power here? It's not like we can start our own coal plant, or we can't start our own nuclear plant. So we are left with what we are left with, and that is NIPSCO. NIPSCO does provide our power, and NIPSCO does a good job, at least in my opinion, when there are situations, and I deal with, we're dealing with flooding situations and natural disasters and windstorms. They do a wonderful job. The issue, though, it's a recipe, and I've said it before, for disaster around here, because if we have these storms, and I'm just going to play it out, not doom and gloom, but if you play it out on Friday and you have the severe storms that we are projecting, and Joe mentioned how hot it was going to be. It was, it was going to be in the 80s. So it's going to be in the 80s, and then it's going to go to the 40s. So what makes that happen? Generally, storms do. And so if there's that big of a storm system that comes through this area, what's going to happen? You're going to knock out power. That's a problem. Two, if you have a fire, NIPSCO and their folks respond to make sure the power is cut so that the firefighters can get in safely to extinguish the fire or fix the problem. So it's not really a great setup. I'm more worried. I mean, I don't know which one I'm more worried about. I'm more worried about NIPSCO or BP, because BP, I mean, one of the largest inland refineries in the world, and we've got, we think, trained folks in there. We have management in there, and the people that have been there, that have life experience, that have 30 years of experience, are sitting on the picket line. And so, without getting into a labor dispute, I think I'm always a middle of the road person. I can feel that you could find a way and a resolution. I don't know how far apart they are, but we've seen instances where there are fires at the refinery and then they've had to evacuate the refinery. I don't want to see that. That situation is played out, I believe, what was in the 50s, where there was a serious problem, and more closer to home with NIPSCO. I don't want to see where we have large storms, we have 40,000 people stuck and without power, and then we have a situation where, well, you're out of power for, who knows, a week, 2 weeks. I mean, there's only so much that they can plan for. And I don't even know how it impacts development. The new developments that are going on that need electrical service. If I understand the strike correctly, there's not many linesmen that are putting this stuff up. So it's going to stymie a lot of things. And I just think, I wish they could resolve it. I don't know all the issues, but from what I'm hearing from people that are on strike, they're looking at 6 months to a year. That's what they've been told. So if they're already being told 6 months to a year, then I have to think that management in the unions think that and have a pretty strong understanding of how far apart they are on the bargaining.
What gets me with the BP situation is it wasn't all that long ago that the mayor of East Chicago was just beaming with joy that a scab contractor was opening up a facility in East Chicago to help supply BP with cheap labor. And it was a training facility. And there was a Northwest Indiana Democrat mayor beaming with joy about this. This is going to be great. This is going to bring a lot of jobs and all this big money these people are going to make. And the guy just kind of helped cut the throats of the BP workers. Not to say that that was the final straw, because BP has been bringing in scabs for years.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of time before this. And it's just amazing to me that, I shouldn't say it's even amazing. It's what has to happen, I suppose. But let's be honest, our NIPSCO bills, there were protests. There were people raging about their NIPSCO bills. NIPSCO is a subsidiary of an East Coast company who at one time blew up houses and killed people, literally killed people, because they overpressurized the gas pressure lines going to residential homes. I mean, they killed people. It's just, there can be some horribly run companies. BP, I've said it before, they were going to get into wind and solar. They were going to go green. This was, I would love for a person from BP to come on, a representative, and I'd love to ask them point blank, how much money did they spend on pronoun training at just their BP facility in Whiting?
Well,
they're an international conglomerate.
No, I'll just say this. I mean, look, I don't want to accuse anyone of killing someone. I mean, I'm sure there could be there's mistakes that could be made.
Yeah, well, there were mistakes that were made that people died.
No,
I
I get it. I get it. But things happen all the time, and I wouldn't want to necessarily just throw just a blanket statement on them and say they're just trying to kill people. I don't think that's the thing. There's a disagreement.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're trying to kill people. What I'm saying is that these are two horribly run companies. BP was going to go solar and wind. They had about as much business getting into solar and wind as you or I have be going into brain surgery, walking up at community hospital and say we're going to do brain surgery.
Yeah, you don't want me doing that.
They got away from their core business. They thought they were going to save the world. And again, my point is, how much money did they spend on nonsense like pronoun training? I know that for a fact. Their little books with the safe zones and their stickers on the hard hats with their preferred pronouns. And they got away from what it takes to get oil out of the ground and refine it a long time ago. For whatever reason, virtue signaling, DEI, whatever the hell you want to call it, these were horribly run companies. So Mexico had their own problems.
No, I appreciate the phone call, and thank you very much. And all I'll say is, look, I'm not here on the negotiating table. I will open it up to anybody from BP or from NIPSCO, likewise from any of the unions, because quite honestly, I'm not at the table negotiating. However, I mean, I will say good things. BP has been a good corporate citizen to the folks. So is NIPSCO. I get it on the price side. It's not fun. Trust me, I pay the NIPSCO, and some of my people in my family think I'm a little bit over the top when it comes to turning off lights and making sure things are done the way they're done. But it's not something that can be corrected immediately here. I think probably legislatively there could be. I know the governor just went a whole throughout his entire the IURC board, which is the regulatory who monitors that. Maybe that new board will then look at something as far as NIPSCO, but look, I've had good experiences with them, but I do think that there needs to be some fairness, and hopefully, they can work things out, because the only things that are going to be hurt are the people like us, and certainly the workers, and you're putting safety out there for everyone that could cause trouble long term. So I appreciate the phone call. It is 6:28. You want to take a break for weather and traffic if you need to?
We'll see. We'll look at the traffic during the break, but Lyneth was very specific to me about how I need to keep on track with all the ads. So we are going to take a break. We have one caller. Stay on the line, please. Yep. We'll get right back to you once this break ends. Other than that, we'll be right back with the morning show on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM.
Summer's coming, and Deep River Water Park is taking applications for all positions. We have jobs both inside and out for all ages that offer great benefits. Free admission on your day off for you and a friend. Free uniforms, paid training, make new friends, flexible scheduling, and more. To apply, just go to deepriverwaterpark.com and you're on your way to a summer of rewarding fun.
Deep River Water Park. It's simply splash-tastic.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
I'm Jerry Williams. For over 35 years, I protected Lake County as a state trooper and interim police chief of Gary. This is my home, and keeping our community safe has been my life's work. I've dedicated my career to fighting crime. Now I'm running for sheriff to get the job done and deliver real results. As a crime fighter, not a politician, I'd be honored to have your vote. Paid for by the committee to elect Jerry Williams for sheriff.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the morning show. It is 6:31 here in the region, and you are listening to WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM out of Hammond, Indiana. And we are going to start this segment off with some traffic and weather because it has indeed gotten worse as far as traffic is concerned. So obviously we're going to start with the Klein Avenue build up, the road construction. It is going to be like that, I believe, until July 11th, so continue to see that build up. Don't expect it to go anywhere. 80 east and west looks good, as well as 41 heading north and south. Once you head into the city, get on to 94 west, that's where you're going to see a bunch of traffic build up, and it has gotten worse. That build up's going to go all the way into the city now, as well as you're going to get some traffic from the 55, the Stevenson Expressway heading north, as well as the Eisenhower heading both east and west. And then finally, if you want to try and take the long road round, it's not going to work because 57 north is also backed up. So pretty much everywhere you go, you're going to get some traffic. I'm assuming it's going to have to do with the storms a lot. You know, people forget how to drive once the weather starts. I will stand by that. So yeah, that's your traffic. As for the weather, we've been talking about it pretty much this entire first segment, but today is going to be a high of 70 and a real feel of 71. You're going to get those thunderstorm spots in the morning. Otherwise, it's just going to be breezy with some clouds. Friday to start the weekend is going to be a high of 82. You're going to get some morning fog. Other than that, it's going to look really nice. Friday is going to be the day to be outside for sure. Saturday, the temperature will drop significantly with a high of 57. You're going to get some early morning showers. And then Sunday is going to be much of the same, but no showers with a high of 51 and a real feel of 52. So there's your traffic and your weather for today. We're going to head straight into the phone lines.
That's fine.
Because Dan has a caller waiting to speak with him. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dan. First of all, you're looking to recruit some people. Put MX and Mad Mac with you and say, "Surprise, Jimmy D-Lo."
Yeah, I think I'd get fired for that one. I would get fired.
What are you gonna say? Like, they want to be the hosts?
Yeah, they want to join you. I would get fired.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it would be interesting, but you better be on the delay button. I'll tell you that.
We're gonna have to add a longer delay.
We'll make it real interesting for you. The first thing I don't go in there unless I got my statue cardboard cut out of George Patton. We got to have a talk here, Dan.
All right, what do we got?
You know, I'm a good Catholic boy, right?
I am too.
So you know what? I got to tell my Catholic story, and everybody should call in. So on one hand, this guy's pretty close to us. This cat right here, real close. Christians are deceitful rogues under Allah's wrath. How can Muslims mix with these infidels talking about us as Christians and Catholics, right? Now, on the other hand, and I'm not making fun of the Pope, the Pope comes out and says Christians and Muslims can live together and be friends. So, I don't think so. And if I wanted somebody to protect me, I should, you know, the Pope does his job, but I'd rather have Vance, Hegseth, and Trump protect me, not the Pope. So I know you were around 47 years ago, where they made fools out of us. and Jimmy Carter did the best he could, but he went into the sand, and he took the heat. The man took the heat for it. They went into a desert with paper filters, and all his dirt bikers were laughing because Coast going there with foam filters with oil on it. And every president has tried his best. Obama gave $1.7 billion, thinking, this will do it. Now it's up to Trump, right? It's up to Trump because these people say death to America. They have uranium, and they want to kill us.
Well, hey, but MX, hold on one second. So how many people do hate America out there besides Iran? Who else out there? If we want to, I'm not a national politics expert, but who else? There's a bunch of people that don't like the way we are set up as a democracy. That's the truth. Look, I get it. They didn't like us, but let me ask you a question. And by the way, I am a Catholic boy. I don't think I'm expecting Pope Leo to have armored, F-15s flying around. That's not the point. That's not the point of this. He's preaching peace, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But here's my question to you: how does this end? How does what's going on in Iran end? To you, in your eyes, what would you think the outcome is? I don't want to blame anybody. I just want to know how it ends.
It didn't end too well for the Ayatollahs, but when you hold Marines hostages, I'm going to put it to simple terms for you, and you hold the hostages in 1979. Okay, I'm going to dummy it down for you.
I appreciate you dumbing it down for
house. Every day I walk in a house, I got this guy, and he's got an AR pointed at me, right?
Yep.
And then he says death to MX.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got the bullets for the AR. At what point do you say we've had enough? Now, during World War II, do you really believe Roosevelt would have gave $1.7 billion to the Germans? No. To fight Patton? No. These people want to kill us, and they're at the top of the list. See, what you're not understanding, they're at the top of the list of wanting to kill us. Not everybody. Everybody hates us, there's no doubt.
Right.
But these people here are at the top of the list. So you have to consider that, Dan, but go ahead.
I know, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you dumbing it down for me. I know sort of what's going on, but in your analogy, when you said someone comes to your house with an AR-15 and points to MX and goes,
no, he's my neighbor.
All right. Well, that's fine.
My neighbor.
Your neighbor, whoever it is, comes to your house and takes the AR and says death to MX. Here's the problem, though. We went to their house, and we went and pointed the thing at them. Look, we can all believe different things as to what's happening or who was obliterated and who wasn't obliterated. Hold on one second. Who was obliterated? Right, we were supposed to be obliterated. Now we're not obliterated. And you said, well, the Ayatollahs are dead. Guess what? Correct, they are. But guess what's going to happen? There's new Ayatollahs that are going to happen. So that's why I asked the question. How does it end in your perfect world? In your perfect world, not pointing any guns at anyone. How does this end? What does America get out of this?
Parking lot.
You want a parking lot?
A parking lot. See?
So 92 million people are going to be dead. That's your parking lot.
So what happened with you, because they want to make a parking lot out of us. They proved that with 9/11 that you forgot about. I forgot about telling you that.
No, I did not forget about it. Matter of fact, MX, by the way, just for the record, so you know, I was at World Trade Center 1 month before that. I was actually on the top of the tower, the view of the tower. I was there. I know what happened. It is a very sad situation. I don't know if that's Iran that did that. However, that was who we believe to be another group of people that didn't care for us. How did that end? So I'm just asking you, how does this end? Forget about the drama. How do you see? I mean, in a perfect world, I want you to draw this up. And I don't have really a dog in the fight besides I don't like watching it. I don't think there's a good end to this. And I want to know what you think the end is to this. How is this going to end? We've stopped oil, or we've stopped people coming in, but we let Russia have the oil. So how does this end? And I don't think there's a right answer. I'm just asking you, in your opinion, how does this end? How does this conflict end?
You know what? You talk so much, I forgot what I was going to say. You know that? You talked me right out what I was going to say.
Well, I had to dumb it down for you. What are you talking about?
I just remembered now. I just remembered. Those people in that 9/11 buried under that rubble, they can't talk. So MX is talking to them. And I'm talking for them. Okay. From the beginning, they got our hostages. They made fools out of our Marines, out of our military. They made fools out of them. They're the worst, okay? Now, they're trying to pull this oil stunt, and that oil really goes to China. We only get 2% out of that straight. But you got to realize, at some point, you can't keep getting pounded on.
Okay.
You can't. You have to stop.
But you didn't answer the question.
And I don't care how it ends.
Oh, you don't care.
I don't care how it ends.
I need
That's
to know.
up to the president.
What do you mean?
I can't tell you that. I don't have a crystal ball.
But how would you like it to end? How would you like it to end? You said to make it a parking lot.
Every day. What if every day me and Mac had a show and we hit you in the head with a rubber chicken? Okay? Sooner or later, as big as you are, remember when you picked me up at the Little Cal?
I did.
That time? Yeah, you give me a bear hug. You look, I didn't hurt you. No, listen here.
I wasn't concerned one bit that you would hurt me, but I still love you. But I still would like to know I still would like to know how it ends.
You do it again, yeah, I'm gonna hurt you. Now listen here. If we came in there, me and Mac every day in our show, and we hit you with a rubber chicken on top of the head, it's not gonna end well for MX and Mad Max. You're gonna retaliate. You got to understand this. You sounded woke to me, but I'm going to tell my Catholic story, and I think the Pope ought to, I'm going to respect the Pope. The Pope ought to do his job, and let the boys do their job, okay? If the Pope would have jumped up Pope Leo in World War II, we wouldn't be here, okay? We wouldn't be here. And that wokeness is going to get us in a lot of trouble. Let me tell you my Catholic story. And now, what the Pope is doing is pushing me more away from the Catholic Church, but I believe in God, and I say my prayers. So now here's what happens. I'm going to tell you the story here.
Well, you got to be quick because we got two more callers coming.
Yeah, Mad Mac and MX already got it for you. I'll tell you my story later, but answer them calls because you're a little bit too woke, and me and Mad Mac will hit you with the rubber chicken. And don't ever bear hug me again because I'm going to turn around and bite you on the nose, all right?
I appreciate it, MX. I never have been called woke in my life. I just asked a simple question. But I appreciate the call, and I think I'm going to get a special guest calling in after 7 o'clock, someone we haven't talked to in a while. I'm not going to say it just yet, but we have someone that you may be familiar with. So,
he didn't even say goodbye.
Well, it's just the way it is. It's okay. Me and MX go back, and my only question, and we talked before the show that we really didn't want to get into national politics. I don't, but all I've asked for, I've got a nephew in the military. I have friends in the military. How does it end? Just tell me how it ends. If the end goal is if as MX has said, he wants to make it a parking lot, then there's 90 million people that live in that country. So that's not a good outcome in my world. I don't think all 90 people are bad people and hate America. So I just want to know how it ends. So just tell me that. If you can tell me that, I think I'll be better. But I can't. I don't follow it on a day-to-day basis. You hear one thing and they blocked the oil and now they've got an embargo and then they don't and then these people are getting through. Like, quite honestly, with social media, and you grew up, Joe, in social media, we started, we barely had email, and I don't mean to, date it like I'm really super old, but, the constant media that's out there that is, and you push algorithms go. Like, if you want to read stories about whatever, they're going to give you all the stories that you want that believe that that Iran is a horrible place. I don't think it's a great place. I don't think all the people are bad. I think the leadership is terrible, but that doesn't say, I mean, there's a lot of countries that are, in my opinion, that maybe not be led the way I would choose to, but I don't live there. I live here, and that's my choice. So it's just, my only question has been to everybody, tell me how it ends. If you can tell me, and not how you think it's going to end, how you want it to end. And if there's an out pattern, I see it. Good. We were supposed to just get rid of the Navy, and we did. So now we're still staying around, and I think this is just going to be a lingering thing and an ongoing problem. And I guess I can congratulate myself the first time I've been considered woke, but I voted Republican the last, I think, 5 or 6 elections. So am I considered a woke Republican? I suppose, but you can check the voter records for all those people that don't believe that. But anyways, well, MX is great. I've been with him for a long time. He believes what he believes, and that's okay. That's what we're all entitled to, and that's why we started the show the way we did. So, wow. You got
we can go to break.
Oh, we can go to break? Fine.
Yeah.
We'll go to break, and then we could hit on some other things. I know John Doherty's coming in at 7:30 for his discussion on his weekly column, and then we might have a caller at 7, and we have some other items that we can have fun talking to. But I know we got to pay the bills, so go ahead and pay the bills.
All right, we'll be right back with the morning show on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Ennigenberg Roofing offers roof replacements, repairs, and new construction. CertainTeed Shingle Master certified, our goal is to treat every customer and project with respect, courtesy, and honesty. Serving Northwest Indiana for over 63 years, contact us for a free roof replacement estimate at 219-365-8879. Mention this ad and receive a free upgrade to CertainTeed Pro Shingles. Ennigenberg Roofing, 219-365-8879.
State Senator Dan Darnell was supposed to be different. He promised to fight for Hoosier families and stand with President Trump. He failed. Darnell voted against President Trump's agenda in Washington. That hurt Hoosier families, and he voted to let a Chinese company buy Hoosier farmland, putting China before us. Dan Darnell, opposing Trump, voting like a liberal, letting us down. A disgrace.
President Trump has endorsed conservative Trevor DeVries for state senate, a real Republican who will fight for Hoosier values. Trevor DeVries will stand with Trump, protect Hoosier farmland from China, defeat the liberal agenda, and never let you down. A true America First conservative. The right choice for Indiana. Endorsed by Trump, Trevor DeVries for state senate. Election day is May 5th. Paid for by American Leadership PAC.
Okay, welcome back everybody to the morning show with Dan Repay and me, Joe Cimino. It is 6:50 here in the region, and you are watching WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. And I'm going to give you guys just a quick traffic update because not much has changed, but everything is still bad. You're not going to find a way, really, into the city without hitting some traffic right now.
Work from home.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, your best bet, it looks like, is taking 41 all the way up to the city. but I know most people don't really like to do that. You're going to get a little bit of a buildup on 80 heading west across the borderline. Then once you get up 94 a little bit, you're definitely going to hit a lot of traffic heading into the city. If you wanted to try and stretch it down to 57, that won't work either because 57 heading north will also be backed up. Once you get into the city more, the Stevenson Expressway is going to be backed up both ways as there's a slowdown ramp to inbound the Dan Ryan that connects with the Stevenson. This traffic on 94 actually heads all the way up into O'Hare, and then finally the Eisenhower Expressway heading east and west is both backed up. So no matter which way you go, it seems like you're going to hit some traffic. So be wary of that. Maybe leave a few minutes early if you decide not to work from home. And then as for the weather, been saying it all day. You're going to get some thunderstorm spots this morning. It's going to be a high of 70 and a real feel of 71. Friday is the day to look forward to, however. Even though it's a low of 49, you're going to have a real feel of 82 and a high of 82 with some morning fog, but otherwise a lot of sun. And then the rest of the weekend, the weather will drop down to the high of 57 and a real feel of 55 with some early morning showers. And then Sunday, the rain will no longer cease to exist. There was some other word I was going to use that I forgot. And then
hopefully it wasn't a bad word.
No. I just
I got in trouble, by the way, last show I said something I shouldn't have.
I've done that too a couple times. You brought up one of the things I shouldn't have said at the beginning of the show with Andrean and Bishop.
Oh, that's okay. You can say that because you know what? It's mature people can say that stuff.
There you go. And then Sunday, yep, like I said, it's going to be a high of 51 and a real feel of 52. No rain, just some breeze and a lot of sunshine and shade. So that is your weather and traffic. We don't have any callers right now, so it's just me and you.
That's fine. I mean, it's actually good because we were talking some before the show, and I need your youth as opposed to me right now as to understanding some things going on in society. And you told me you're the COVID class, right? You didn't have the senior year. You basically they quit in March, and you finished online and graduated 15 feet apart?
Well, actually, this is something that I feel like I don't know if I've often complained about, but I've definitely brought it up on air once. So my junior year is when the lockdown started, like where we got that 2 weeks.
Right.
And then summer hit, and then senior year started for me. And at Andrean, we were the only school in the region that was forced to go into school 5 days a week. Like,
really?
We didn't have the option of being hybrid, and, we didn't have, at my old school in Illinois, my old Catholic school, they had red and blue days. Those were their colors. So half the school would go in on red days every other day. And then virtual.
What school was that, can I ask?
I went to Marion Central. Not Marion Catholic.
Okay.
Marion Central,
right.
Which is out in Woodstock.
All right.
But, yeah, they had red and blue days. So half the school would go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The other would go Tuesday, Thursday. And then they'd alternate weeks. So then the next half of the school would go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The other one would go, Tuesday, Thursday. And then every other day they'd be online.
So did you feel cheated during COVID at all? Like, I mean, I wasn't there. My son was, but he was in college, and so the college experience was a little bit different. He told me, there was no parties. They would come crack down if you were there. I'm thinking that's terrible. Like part of college is not partying, but doing the social aspect of talking to people, and it was really something that wasn't acceptable, I guess, too much at Purdue down in Lafayette.
I would say that it didn't affect our social life as much as it did our school life, at least for me. Like when I was in Illinois that summer, you would never have known that COVID existed. I was at my friend's house every day. We were always hanging out. When I got to Andrean, like I said, they made us go to school 5 days a week. We still had parties and stuff like that over the weekend.
Course.
Right? Yeah, it didn't matter to us. But the thing that I hated is that Andrean made us go to school 5 days a week. But
Be careful, Andrean's listening.
It doesn't matter to me. And we were the only school in the region that didn't have a homecoming or prom.
Wow.
So, they made us go to school, but they didn't give us a dance. But at all those other schools that were hybrid and stuff like that, they made workarounds. Like LC had their homecoming outside.
Yeah.
On the football field. It's not, perfect, but at least it was something.
It was a memory.
Exactly.
And now what you have is it's going to be a story to tell, like when you're older, that you're going to be able to talk about that situation scenario And I mean, I don't necessarily want to bring up COVID and, how it was handled. There was a lot of things that could have been improved upon, but it's interesting to listen to your perspective. Like I said, I know the college perspective, how it was, where it was basically they were going to school from home. Although they were in their dorms or in their fraternities, and it's like, what am I don't even know what I'm paying for at this point, but it's what it was. But to the point, like so you didn't really have a senior year, but I still want to understand, and maybe you could help me understand this with this Soaker situation. Was it a Soaker assassin?
They're taking, it's called Senior Assassin.
Senior Assassin. So help me out.
It's a game among seniors. Like I said, we didn't get to play it,
right?
But it's basically where the whole senior class, someone like coordinates it, and then they give every person has like a certain amount of targets, and then they're also a target themselves for other people. And the goal is to be, I guess, the last one standing, and it's like no rules apply. You can be anywhere at any time. There are like certain things like you can't stay locked in your car if someone's surrounding you, or like there's certain safe areas that you can be in, like no doing it like in school, or something like that. It probably wouldn't be that. But
and the reason why I brought it up, of course, is because of the student in Portage where he was sitting outside at a workout club or some gym and waiting for, I guess, one of his targets. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, so it's a super soaker. So in my mind, it's a bright yellow, bright green super soaker.
They've gotten really advanced with that stuff.
Well, I saw what was in the paper or online where they had the body cam photo, and I mean the darn thing looked like
it's got a drum mag and everything,
like a legit gun. And I'm going, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking this can't be super smart. I mean, this is like, in theory, that kid could have been killed if someone thought or didn't have a little bit more patience.
Right, took matters into their own hands.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm understanding is the gym person is calling saying there's a guy who's been sitting out there with a gun, and I guess every unit in the community arrived at it. I'm going, I just in my head, and I guess common sense a little bit, and for the kids, it's like, yeah, I'm just getting Joe. Joe's one of my targets, so I know Joe works out at wherever, the YMCA. I'm going to wait for Joe to come out, and I'm going to get him, and that's my target, and no one's going to see that.
Right. From the kid's perspective, it's not a bad idea. Right?
It's sort of harmless. However, like I said, when I saw the gun, I go, I mean, that could have ended terribly, like terrible. I just couldn't believe that was such a sport or a game. I mean, for us, our senior thing was like we painted the side of the toll road at Bishop Knoll. So you went to Andrea, so you probably have gone to Knoll on occasion. So your senior big thing was you would go there and you would graffiti up the toll road, and that's what you would do, and you would go home. Or maybe you'd teepee someone's house, and that got goofy. Or, I don't know what else. I can't remember everything else we did, but none of it revolved around a gun or a super soaker or anything like that. And so when I read the article, I go, and I'm glad that you're here because, this is it's new for you. And it's super new for me. It's something that you deal with all the time or have dealt with and have a good understanding of. But I didn't know how it worked. I'm going, how is this going to end up anywhere near good?
So this actually reminds me of a game that I used to play back
there's another
at Marion.
One.
Yeah. This isn't like a whole senior coordinated thing. This is more like you get a group of friends and you play it. I forgot what it's called. It's
paintball? How about paintball? You guys ever try that one?
Yeah, we have, but
okay, good.
This has nothing to do with there are no weapons of any kind in this. I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of like a kidnapping game. So what you would do,
Jesus,
I know, is you'd have two groups of 3 or more, whatever, it doesn't matter. You could have 4 or 5, and you would take one person or 2 people from the other team, and you'd blindfold them, and you'd flip cars, and you'd have you'd just say the school was in Woodstock, so just like the town of Woodstock would be the parameters, right? So you would blindfold these other people, put them in the other car, and you drop them off anywhere random in the town. And then basically they'd have their phone and they would have to text you. They couldn't call, they'd have to text you, and they wouldn't be able to tell you street signs or, anything specific, like a store name or anything like that. So you'd have to describe the area that you were in, and then you'd have the other people on your team would have to come and pick you up and take you to the drop-off point. And the first team that has their kidnappies to the drop-off point wins. And there was times where it would be like, I don't know, like 2 a.m. and you'd be in a random cornfield, You
ever think about trying and play Uno or Battleship or anything like that?
That's way too boring, though.
But there's
gotta have some stakes.
You could have some. You could have some video games. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but what's better than being outside, right?
Well, I mean, being outside dropped off in some person's property that you don't know who it is and they don't know who you are and who knows what could happen. Like, to me, I'm not thinking that's great. But, I mean, it's just a change of time. And it's my learning curve with everything. Like, that's just not what even we did. But then again, we didn't have the technology that's so, I mean, you could basically follow your friends on whatever, on Snapchat or whatever. You know where they're at if you wanted to. Which is another thing about social media that, what's that? Darn it. I remember that Netflix, it was social something. It was about all the how social media basically guides you to certain places and needs to places. And I'm like, I'm just amazed watching kids. They have to respond. And I don't know if you're one of them and you're not a kid, you're a young adult. But, if someone texts you, if you don't text back in or Instagram or whatever, Snapchat them back quickly, then it's a big thing. Like, when I was, and I'm going to take my age, but when I didn't want to talk to anyone, I just didn't pick up the phone, or I told my mom or dad, I'm not home. But for you guys, I know where Joe's at. Oh, he's on Snapchat. He's at home. I know he's at home. Why is he avoiding my conversation? And I'm going, the amount of stress that is, I guess that's how you guys burn it off, is by dropping people off in the middle of farm fields or whatever and trying to tell them to figure themselves out how to get to you. So, I mean, I don't know. It's something that I'm still working through. And when when I read that article, initially I'm thinking, all right, so he's going to soak someone. That's fine. I mean, it's no big deal. But then when I saw the gun, I'm going, it's not really great. This could be bad, but I don't know what happens. I'm sure, hopefully the kid doesn't get in too much trouble. Hopefully it's sort of a learning lesson for...
I would be surprised if he got charged with anything. I would feel very.
I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I would feel not I don't know, me feeling wrong, but I feel like it would be wrong to charge a kid like that. Obviously it was I understand. That looks very realistic. I don't know why it's got a red dot sight and a drum mag and a silencer on it. I don't understand why people are making, like you said, if I was playing Senior Assassin, my Super Soaker, I'd have to bring a bucket of water with me and then, crank the thing to get the water filled and then,
I mean, they got sights on it, everything. I'm like, if you can't hit someone with a Super Soaker, then you got problems. But
exactly. But it's like a shotgun at that point. It's got a large
it's
spray
going
range.
Everywhere. But when I saw it, I was just it's still just I can't figure out, and I hope nothing for the kid. I don't think the kid meant it. I don't think probably he thought it through, and I think probably 95% of the seniors that are doing it thought that level, that where it could end up. But I could definitely see the police and why they were a little bit anxious.
Yeah,
and the
100%.
Gym owner calling in going, I got a guy nervous. It's not uncommon to have,
especially
people.
He's not trying to be seen, so he's going to be antsy. He's going to be hiding, and then he has that thing on him. And the worst part is that it's all advertised all over. So I've seen the advertising for that specific Super Soaker and other ones that look just like it all over social media.
I guess I'm not in the same algorithm.
It is so easy to buy. Those ads maybe pop up every 10 minutes on TikTok. You click on it and then it's $19.99, something like that. It's not expensive, and what those deals that you get off social media. It's always no shipping.
Yeah.
So it's substantially cheap. Something that a high school kid could easily get their hands on and afford. And now you kind of get to see what the mix up happens. Obviously it was a mix up, but one that was very justified from every perspective that you look at. It is justified, and we're just lucky that no one got harmed in the process.
And if I was a police officer that had no clue of this game, I mean, maybe the police departments know about this, or this, whatever it is. It's an event. It's a rite of passage, whatever you want to call it, for the seniors. The reality is, I mean, it could have ended terrible, and really, for no one's fault. The student was just trying to do what the students before him did and what he was told to do. The officers could have been doing what they were trained to do. And, you've got the gym owner who's going, look, I don't know how many people are in the gym, 50 kids in the gym or 50 people in the gym, and I've got someone antsy out there possibly with a gun. Well, I get it. Everyone was doing what they were supposed to do. Thankfully, it ended where it did. So
yeah, because, that kid could have easily gotten shot.
Easily.
If he was because my guess is if you have something like that, the police are showing up, guns drawn, right? They're not taking out a taser first. They're not taking out their baton saying, drop your weapon.
I think it would be equal force at that point.
Exactly. So, and then if, they're drop your gun, and the kid was like, it's a water gun, and goes like that, or doesn't immediately drop the gun, chances are he gets shot.
Yeah, things could be much, much worse. It is, sorry, we went on I have to learn. This is learning for me, understanding the senior assassin thing. It's 7:06 in the region. We're expecting good weather today. Midday supposed to break. Tomorrow going to be terrible. Traffic's terrible. You should work from home, right?
Yep, work from home.
Yeah, we need to do breaks. I know we
do have a call. I don't know if it's your caller or if it's just a random caller.
we could. If you need to go breaks, we'll go breaks, and then if it's my caller, we'll take him, and if it isn't, we'll still go.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break. Callers, stay on the line just so that we can make a segment out of the next clip, whether or not it is your caller or not. So, with that being said, you are listening to the morning show with Dan Repay on WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM here in Hammond, Indiana. We will be right back after these short breaks.
Know a Hoosier serving in the military or living overseas? Indiana wants every eligible Hoosier to participate in our elections. Military and overseas voters can register and vote securely from anywhere in the world. Voting assistance for service members, families, and eligible Hoosiers is available now. Visit IndianaWantsYou.com or contact your county election office. And remember, Indiana wants you. Message sponsored by your Indiana Secretary of State.
Indiana wants me.
I'm Jerry Williams. For over 35 years, I protected Lake County as a state trooper and interim police chief of Gary. This is my home, and keeping our community safe has been my life's work. I've dedicated my career to fighting crime. Now I'm running for sheriff to get the job done and deliver real results. As a crime fighter, not a politician, I'd be honored to have your vote. Paid for by the committee to elect Jerry Williams for sheriff.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Welcome back to the morning show. I am your producer, Joe Cimino, and I'm going to do a quick little traffic and weather before we get into the calls, just because traffic is absolutely awful. Yeah, your best shot still is going to be 41 heading up into Chicago, but once you get into Lake Shore, you are going to run into some traffic. 94 heading west is actually probably the worst that I've seen it since I've been doing traffic. It is red all the way up into O'Hare, actually heading both west and east. So thank God none of you guys are heading home right now, I guess. And then as for the Stevenson, is backed up both ways again, heading both north and south with the slow ramp to inbound the Dan Ryan. And then the Eisenhower heading both east and west is also severely backed up. Guys, the traffic is bad right now. So
you're saying take the train this time?
It is honestly a valid option. If you guys are worried or you woke up a little late, maybe taking the train there is the best option because you are going to have some delays no matter which way you take to get to the city.
I haven't taken the train yet, the new train. I'm wondering if anyone out there has taken the train. I'm just curious.
When was the new train? When did they make that?
Well,
I know there's new train stations.
Yeah, well, the new train station, the new route, I believe it started, I don't know the exact date, but it was end of March. I believe it was March, maybe it was March 31st was the first, I think that's what it was the first day the train was running from basically the Westlake corridor from Dyer all the way up and then switched in. If you want to take the express, you go all the way to Chicago. Otherwise, you'd have to switch at the Hammond station. But I am curious. I took the train for a couple of years up to Chicago, and it was always, it was nice. The bad side of it is you're sort of subject to the schedule. So if you didn't get out of work till 5:35, well, you missed the 5. And I know this, sadly enough, but I missed the 5:28 train. Now I've got to take the 6:15 train that isn't the express train that stops at every place between, Kensington and the museum campus, and it's just a long way. But it's an option. It's pretty cool, I think. And I know some from the reports that I'm hearing is some of the new stations and their parking lots are full already early. So probably what's happening is the people that normally went to Hammond or East Chicago station are now jumping on possibly in the Munster station or the Dyer station and then going forward. But anyways, I'm curious if anyone out there has taken it, let me know. I'd like to do it. I'm going to do it eventually, but I don't necessarily think I want to do it on a day like this where there's going to be a bunch of people that are really going to work and I'm trying to just go to see how it is. So is the caller still there?
The caller is still here.
Still hanging on?
Yep.
Caller?
Good morning,
Good
caller.
morning. It's 7:12.
You're on the air.
It's your caller. I'm sorry I'm late.
Well, it's okay, caller. Sorry you're late. Who is this caller? I know who it is, but I just want to know, did you hear a little bit earlier who gave me grief this morning?
No, I did not.
MX. So
MX gave you
MX gave me grief. So all of you longtime listeners, I figured, I was when they gave me this show or they gave me this substitute role. I said, it would be cool to listen to some of the people that have been here in the past. Larry the K was on. I briefly heard him about 2 weeks ago, and so now I figured I was like, you know what? I'm going to call Conservation Mike, and so. That's who we have on the air. Joe does not remember Conservation Mike. Conservation Mike has been here, and I'll let him tell all of his stories of what he's done. But he has been here probably from the very beginning with the Preacher, MX, you name it. You had your own show, so go with it. How are things going? I know you're not in the area, my understanding, so... If people are wondering what's going on, tell us.
I retired to Florida like all older people should do.
Good for you.
And it's already, we're breaking high temperatures this week in over higher 80s. So it's very nice. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. I used to be all wrapped up in conservation, and of course we had the Bass Buzz on Saturday mornings, and but I retired from all of it. I listen to the people down here and kind of switch roles. No more talking, more listening.
I'm sure your wife's probably happy about that too, right? Does that apply in that role too, or no? More listening
really,
and less talking.
When I left the Bass Buzz, I went to Valparaiso. And turned out one of the guys on the air down there in Valpo used to listen to the Bass Buzz, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're Conservation Mike. You should get a show down here." So I did for a couple of years, and I forget the name of the station down there in Valpo. But yeah, it was fun.
WIMS, is that what it is, or am I off that one?
It could be. I don't know. I don't have a sticker around anymore.
That's all right.
Used to have stickers left over. Could tell right away. But yeah, did that for a couple of years, and we talked about the dunes, and I got in big trouble for having Matt Reardon on with me because I wanted to talk to the other side of the issue with drinking at the dunes and what have you, and the development they were doing there. And yeah, I got in big trouble from all the people who hated it, which is basically I did. I hated it, but
really
now I hear it's a big mess out there.
What, at the dunes?
Yeah, because they've attracted all the people who they don't actually buy their alcohol, but now they can have it at the dunes, and of course with that brings more trash and other issues. So,
I'm surprised.
I don't know. I stayed out of it.
I'm surprised Matt Reardon would cause any trouble. I'm sort of shocked at that. Mm-hmm. He's an Andrean guy.
He just wanted to. He asked if he could come on and talk about the other side of the issue, and of course, why wouldn't I do that?
Sure.
But then some people didn't like it. But that's okay.
Matt's a good guy. I mean, and Mike's not playing at all. I mean, you and Pat Renwick, and does Pat still do the Bass Buzz? I thought he did something, or I don't know if he does, or if you're still in contact.
He's still doing it. He's still podcasting with the Stray Casts and talking to all the bass guys and all that stuff. Yeah, he's still out there doing it.
All right. Well, and you and Fred, and I will tell you this. So during my day job, I'm responsible for the river and ancillary tributaries. And I will tell you, Mike here, Fred, Pat, MX, even though I hate to admit that, MX helped us out a great deal when we were just starting out and had no clue and no money and no nothing. And you guys sort of took the lead and trying to formulate, and you got those cleanups going, through Lake County Solid Waste and through Isaac Walton. And so that opened my eyes to different things. Although you did open us up to hunting, which turned out to be a terrible idea, just for the record, Mike. And I'll explain that to you later, just because you think all the hunters in the world are very nice people, and most of them probably are. But I will tell you, they become very territorial when it becomes deer hunting season. So we
I'll bet.
we had a little bit of an issue, and we had to stop that because we had some contractors and some deer hunting interference. And so I'll catch you up on that news. So. But anyways, I just thought that it would be cool to have you on. You haven't been on WJOB in a long time. I don't even know, probably plus 10 years.
I think I was on with Harlow a few times after the Bass Buzz, but the Bass Buzz ended in 2013, and then I came on with Harlow periodically for the next couple of years. Every once in a while, he'd have nothing better, so he'd call me up and see if I wanted to come on.
Jesus, I'm sure he had other things better. He just was similar to like me. I'm going, when MX is texting me and telling me, I'm sorry, and it just reminded me of all the times that we talked, and I go, I should bring back some of the people that are and that have been a part of this radio station for the last 15, 20 years, certainly since 2008, 2010 sort of really picked up and with local broadcasting. And so I just thought it'd be cool to have you on. Tell people
I appreciate that.
What's up, and that that you're hanging out in Florida and you're not hanging on the river anymore, although we still have pictures of you in our office cleaning up the river with the front end loaders and everything. So that's really it. I wanted to surprise people, but I don't know. I mean, you're on Facebook if someone wanted to get a hold of you, right? I don't think you want to give out your personal cell phone over the line, but
I'm on Facebook, and all the other pages that I made, the Bass Buzz page, the Friends of the Little Calumet River page, the festival page, the Go Outside with Conservation Mike. Those are all the pages are all still there.
Are they still active?
Pop up with memory. As far as I know,
yeah.
Somebody actually just joined the Go Outside with Conservation Mike page. I don't post on them anymore because I'm out of the loop. I think the last one I posted was about the new eagle nests that they're finding all around, because I think they're up to 7 in the region basically.
Mike, there's quite a bit.
I know of.
There are quite a bit besides the one that you know about that's in Gary. I know there's got to be one here in Hammond, Munster area, because we see them flying over, and we know they can travel for food, but there's someplace around here. There's one, and I haven't found it, but we've seen it on several occasions. But anything else you want to tell the listeners? I'm like I said, this is just open mic for you before we have to discuss the Iran war, I guess. Again, I'm just kidding.
Iran war, holy cow!
No, I'm not. It's gotten deep here, man. It's gotten deep, but no, we're good. We got plenty to talk about. But what else you got going? And if people want to reach out to you, just reach out through Facebook or whatever and say what's up. But I thought, like I said, it's just cool to bring you on and to talk and to say whatever you wanted to say and hang out with us because we certainly miss you. I miss the volunteers because you guys were the eyes and ears for us out there and taught us a lot about the system when I was just looking at being drowned in paperwork for crediting and money purposes. So,
well, it was cool back then because we got it all kind of worked together, and we didn't actually know what we were doing, but we like I said, we figured it out, as far as draining the areas and now you guys are putting water back in areas and the Grant Street Marsh, I understand you got the control structure there now.
Yeah.
But as I hear about it, it's probably old news now.
No, it's there. I mean, and it's true. Is like some of the places we were taking water out is now we're putting back in. So everything changes, and it goes back to the days where we got chest waders on and hopefully didn't fall into the river, and we used our rakes to do it. Now, we've upgraded. I don't do that anymore. Fred doesn't do it anymore, and Jeff doesn't do it anymore. So we go to the machinery route. So
some of that was really fun.
I have plenty of pictures to prove it. It was fun. Has the good memories, and that's why I brought you on, because I'm going, hey. I mean, it's sort of that thing to do. And so I haven't figured out who my next special guest is for May. I think that's the next time I get April 30th. I think it's April 30th. So if you have someone, or if you want to just ever pop on I think I'm every other Thursday. So jump on in, give us a ring, tell us what's up, and tell us the weather down in Florida. Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I appreciate it.
It's a beautiful day in paradise.
Well, send some up this way. We need a little bit of it.
Right.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll talk at you.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
All righty.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Conservation Mike, everyone. There's my special guest, Joe. You don't remember him, but he walked these halls, and he's done a lot of stuff for the area. Like you said, he's now retired down in Florida. God bless him. I don't know if I could ever go down to Florida to retire, but I don't know if that would be me. That's too warm for me. It's 7:24. I think we're still getting a guest, but if we're not, taxes, elections. We could talk about the toll road. Well, look, we talked about trains. Now we can talk about the toll road. I don't know if you saw the new thing. They want to up the price of the toll road. In exchange, they get a buyout. I think they get $300,000 or $300 million 2 times a year for 2 years. And they believe that's going to pay for, the rumor is, the new, or potentially the new Bear Stadium. Now, what's your take on that? You played football. Come on. Like, you can wish and dream. It's okay.
I sure hope so. I mean, I think it would be great for our radio station.
For sure.
Especially for my job as the sports director. I think it would be great to have Hammond out here, or have the Bears out here in Hammond. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably realistically not. Because, we've done literally, the region has done everything in their power like they will give an arm and a leg to the Bears if they want it, like a literal human arm and a leg to the Bears if they wanted it. So, in my opinion, at this point, right, they would have done it by now if they wanted to. I think they're just trying to strong arm Arlington or, strong arm the city to maybe get them a better stadium out there. I don't know how feasible that is, but yeah, I mean, we've given them everything that they've asked for. So the only thing that we're waiting on is for them to say yes. So if they
if you believe the reports, they say early summer. Some people say May 1st. I mean, the Illinois legislature just approved I think the Italian beef sandwich as the official sandwich of Illinois. I'm thinking, I don't think that's your biggest
more pressing matter.
I think there's bigger problems than that. But I mean, I guess, if you want to be the sponsor of something, and everyone's like, oh, they're not. I'm going to tell you, the more it goes, the more I think there is a possibility. I'm in your world. Like, I think certainly the easiest choice is just go to Arlington Heights. Because it's in Illinois, you're not going to get too much fluff. It's Illinois, and you don't have to change the fight song. But to your point, Indiana's just said, here you go. I'm going to give you what you need. You have Republican administration in Indianapolis and a speaker working with, Democrats mainly up here in Northwest Indiana. I mean, I've said all along, it's not terrible for marketing purposes for us as a Northwest Indiana because it's free publicity. I mean, the commissioner of the NFL is talking about it. The Chicago media is talking about it. And I think, quite honestly, it shows that Northwest Indiana and Indianapolis, and we use them as like geographical places, that they can work together. And if you all sit there and focus, and what's amazing to me is everything's tight-lipped. Like, no one will come and talk about anything. The mayor's not saying anything. Anybody else in his administration is not saying, but they have it, and that's why you have, non-disclosure agreements, and probably the Bears said, look, if anything gets out, we're done. So I'm looking forward to the decision. I think it'd be cool.
I think it's supposed to happen sooner rather. I think May makes more. I thought I saw a tweet about them having to come to a decision, but by that same token, like the Giants and the Jets are in New Jersey.
Yep,
they're not even, and everyone calls them the New York Giants and the New York Jets. They're still going to be the Chicago Bears, and everybody that goes to watch the game from Northwest Indiana, takes the train from Hammond, right?
Yep.
So how different is it going to be? It's just going to be the people of Chicago coming out to Indiana instead of vice versa, and you're going to get off at the Hammond train station, and then you're going to go and it's going to be in town.
And the funny thing is, all the people from Chicago, I'm not going to be a Bears fan. You're not going to go, like, would you say you're a Cowboys fan?
I am.
I still don't understand that, but I mean, especially you're originally.
Shout out Paul Goddard.
Is he a Cowboys fan?
He is.
Really?
Yeah. Me and Paul holding it down in Northwest Indiana.
Really? I guess, it's America's team. I get it. But, I guess it's better than being a Green Bay Packers fan.
It's definitely, I hate the Packers. Don't even get me started on it. I might hate the Packers more than most Bears fans do. I have a burning hatred for the Packers.
It just surprised me you're originally from Connecticut, moved here, and you're a Dallas fan. Like that, you're close to Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia one time for a Philadelphia-Dallas game. I love people in Philadelphia, but they didn't like Cowboys fans there. No. And I was just a neutral party. Like, I was just going to be there.
Yeah.
And it's some serious business. There's a lot of hate for Cowboys. But look, the Cowboys don't have a stadium in Dallas.
They're in Arlington.
I mean, you could go down the line. Kansas City is going now to Kansas. You can go to San Francisco's now in Santa Clara. So, it's really about a deal. And everyone's like, well, you don't want to use taxpayers. There's not many $6 billion franchises out there that are willing to locate in certain areas, and there's some ancillary benefits to that. And besides the football, you could have Taylor Swift here. You never know.
Yeah.
You have
Super
now
Bowls, Olympics.
You have a bunch of stuff that you can play with, especially if it's retractable. And so I'm hopeful of that.
And I don't think that there are many places that other teams can go that you can be relocated, and the community is behind it as well. Like, at least from what I understand, and I may be wrong about this, but most people are okay with taking, paying a little more taxes, to have the stadium being built over here, at least from what I understood.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that a whole lot of other places where, a large majority of the civilians in the area are willing to pay more to have a sports team in the area.
Well, I don't think you may get some pushback on some people that don't want to pay the taxes, and I get it.
Not everybody, but
right,
a majority of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And to the Porter County folks, they're like, well, why should I pay for a Lake County stadium? Well, I mean, realistically, if you're going to develop an area, that area is going to be you're going to live more than likely in Porter County. Just they have a bigger housing stock than Lake County. I don't imagine name a football player for the Bears. Pulling up shop on my house in Munster on Holly Lane. It's just not going to. Maybe I'd be shocked.
My house is on the market, Caleb.
Oh,
Caleb Williams,
his. All right, well,
I do have a pretty nice house. I do all right.
I know. I like your subdivision. I have a couple friends that live in there, and I used to golf there. So I was like, oh man, but the houses are sweet. I mean, they're cool. So. Looking forward
and my
to it.
master bedroom is on the main floor, so you don't have to go up or down the stairs.
Especially at your age, you got to be careful about those stairs, right?
I'm just saying, you're coming back from a game, Actually, I broke my toe last year falling down the stairs.
How? It's on the main level.
Well, my room was in the basement when my parents still lived with me.
Oh.
So then I would walk down. I walked down the stairs, and I was holding some donuts, and I hit the splits, and now my right big toe is stuck under my middle toe.
Like permanently?
Yeah.
You ever have that looked at, possibly?
Well, I got it. I had like a little, I don't know. I think they gave me a boot for a little bit, but like they couldn't do anything to fix the positioning. So it's just kind of like bent in there.
Interesting. I don't know if I'd like to see that or not like to see that, but it's definitely interesting. And sorry that they can't fix it, but I don't know if we. It's just after 7:30.
It is. It's 7:30. So we're gonna take a quick break.
Yeah.
We have two callers.
Oh, good. And
I thought someone would be here, but
and if they're not, we'll just talk to the callers.
We'll keep going.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. So I hope you guys are too. You guys are listening to the morning show with Dan Repay and WJOB 12:30 AM 104.7 FM. We will be right back after the short breaks. Callers, stay with us, please.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
State Senator Dan Darnell was supposed to be different. He promised to fight for Hoosier families and stand with President Trump. He failed. Darnell voted against President Trump's agenda in Washington. That hurt Hoosier families, and he voted to let a Chinese company buy Hoosier farmland, putting China before us. Dan Darnell, opposing Trump, voting like a liberal, letting us down. A disgrace.
President Trump has endorsed conservative Trevor DeVries for state senate, a real Republican who will fight for Hoosier values. Trevor DeVries will stand with Trump, protect Hoosier farmland from China, defeat the liberal agenda, and never let you down. A true America First conservative. The right choice for Indiana. Endorsed by Trump, Trevor DeVries for state senate. Election day is May 5th. Paid for by American Leadership PAC.
I'm Jerry Williams. For over 35 years, I protected Lake County as a state trooper and interim police chief of Gary. This is my home, and keeping our community safe has been my life's work. I've dedicated my career to fighting crime. Now I'm running for sheriff to get the job done and deliver real results. As a crime fighter, not a politician, I'd be honored to have your vote. Paid for by the committee to elect Jerry Williams for sheriff.
A pilot preparing for takeoff?
Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the morning show with Dan Repay. I am your producer, Joe Cimino, and it is 7:36. I almost said 12:36. It's 7:36 in the morning here in the region in Hammond, Indiana, and traffic is looking even worse somehow than than about a half hour ago when it was really bad. So you're now getting traffic on 80 West heading all the way through Gary into like Hobart area. You're getting some traffic on the East Chicago heading west as well, and then you got the backup on Klein. This traffic on 80 West heads over the border, but you will be good heading east. So I guess it's not really relevant if you're heading to Chicago, but regardless, we move on, and 94 heading west is extremely backed up all the way into O'Hare down from basically the border of the city. Same thing with the 57 North heading to the connector of 94. And then the Stevenson Expressway heading north and south, very backed up. Eisenhower heading east and west, also very backed up. Guys, it's literally red everywhere. There's no other way to put it. You're hitting traffic. You're going to hit some bad traffic. So other than that, I got to turn up your new mic. We'll move on to weather. So it is going to be a high of 70 with a real feel of 71 today. You're going to get some thunderstorm spots this morning. Otherwise, it's just going to be breezy with a little bit of sun. Friday, the day to look forward to. A low of 49, but a high of 82 and a real feel of 82. Other than the morning fog, you're just going to get some clouds and a lot of sun. And on the weekend, it will cool off. You will get some showers in the morning on Saturday with a high of 57. And then Sunday, it'll drop a little bit more with a real feel of 52, but no rain and just a lot of sun and clouds. So that's your weather and traffic. And now I'll take it to Dan.
Thank you there, Joe. We are joined now by John Doherty here from Powers Health. I don't know what your official title is. You're something of science, and I don't know anymore.
Okay.
I know you're a columnist in the Times. And
That's what I've done. That's what I've done the longest.
How long have you done that?
40 years.
And I'm going to tell you a story after you tell me your title, and you'll be surprised. I don't think I've ever told you the story.
I'm Vice President of Therapy Services and Sports Medicine for Powers Health.
So there you go.
I've been doing that for 10 years.
And hopefully you don't have to go to St. Mary's and Hobart. It sounds like traffic's bad.
No, I only have to go to St. Catherine today.
Oh, well, that's good. See, now I'm going to tell you a story. You never heard this before, but
all right.
Your column is the reason why listen to this. This is the God's honest truth. The reason why I got into athletic training at Ball State. I used to read your column, not to age you, not to age me, but so I thought I was going to be an athlete, right? I can't jump that high anymore.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, I can't run.
Everybody in here thought they were going to be an athlete.
But I thought, like, how best way to still stay involved.
Sure.
And it was by reading the column, I go, like, I could be an athletic trainer. And I go, all right, well, let me go do that. And I applied to two places at the time that I thought, in my infinite wisdom when I was 18 years old, that were the best places to go. And it was Ball State and Indiana State. And I decided to go to Ball State. And I studied for 3 years, kinesiology, physiology, anatomy. Lord I was shadowing football teams. Sure. The only claim to fame I've got is Brad Maynard from the Bears, or used to be the Giants. He was the punter at Ball State, and I can tell you, so we had enough basketball or enough football practices, but he used to punt. I mean, he used to just bomb. And you saw the scouts there when he was a sophomore, and
so you knew
he was a sophomore at that time, and so it was there. But I have you to thank, although I didn't ultimately graduate with that athletic training because they switched it. Something happened my junior year where they switched the need, and you needed a teaching license. And then I'm thinking to myself, do I really want a teaching license? And then the amount of hours that athletic trainers put in.
Right.
And I'm going, all right, those are going to be like 80-hour days. I mean, 80-hour weeks. And I'm going, I don't want to do this.
That was the life of the athletic trainer, and for some athletic trainers, still their life today.
Yeah. I hats off to them. So I have enough anatomy, kinesiology, physiology, modalities. I know how to tape an ankle, a wrist. Not so great at the shoulder, but
nobody's so great at shoulders.
Yeah, so
that's a tough joint to tape.
So I will tell you that's what you were my cause, but it was good because I met some great people. I learned a lot of great things from it, and so I still read your column, by the way.
I appreciate it. Well, between my wife and you, that makes two.
That's okay. I mean, there's still people doing it, but I did read your last column about ALS and concussion. That was, I think, was that in Tuesday's?
It was Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday's edition, and I found, it is interesting. I know a couple people that have been diagnosed with ALS.
Yeah, bad deal.
And it's the worst. It's just you can't really do anything. But your reader had brought maybe a possibility of a correlation
with CTE.
And we could talk about concussions because I've had one of those, and that's however you want to handle it. But concussions is, and I think you brought it up in your column, is sort of people have fatigue of it.
People are tired of hearing. For a long time, I'll tell you, I get the impression, and when it comes to concussion, people are tired of hearing from John Doherty.
But it's worth it.
It's not going away. The issue is not changing.
It's not, and it can happen in different ways. My first interaction with a concussion was I had a car accident, perfectly stopped. I was on Ridge Road in Colfax, was going to a fantasy football party, and I was stopped, and a woman just, bam, smacked me from behind.
Plowed right into you.
No, not much car damage. Pulled over to the side. I remember at the school, Lake Ridge or whatever it was, and the officer goes, "What's the problem?" I go, "My head." It felt like my brain was going to come out of my head, and he goes, "Oh, okay. Well, do you want an ambulance?" I go, "No, I'm good." I remember turning around.
No, I'm good. I have the first pick.
Yeah. I got to get there.
Yeah.
And I drove straight to community, and they gave me some medicine to calm me down. I don't know, whatever it was. And then they said, you should probably follow up with the concussion clinic.
Yes.
And who's the trainer now at Highland, or is or was, or what's his name?
Patrick O'Haver.
So he was my person, and I remember going through all the tests, and he said, "Did you drive here?" And I said, "I did." He goes, "You're probably not going to drive back." I go, "What's the problem?" And there's a series of tests, and you could talk about them.
Sure.
But it was basically, he said, your reaction time is that of like a 90-some-year-old person.
Right.
And he goes, "You're a danger to yourself, and you're a danger to everybody." I'm like, okay. So what do people go through for concussion testing? Like, so in a similar situation that comes through me, what happens when they go to your place, which is now on 30, right?
It's on US 30. Dr. Mike Owens runs the concussion clinic now, and what they go through is we find out what your symptoms are. That's the most important thing, because the symptoms are what tell us whether or not you have a concussion. There's no specific test to say for sure that you have a concussion, and people. I still hear from people, "I had a CAT scan. The CAT scan was negative. I don't have a concussion." No, the CAT scan doesn't show up whether or not you have a concussion. We'll ask you what your symptoms are. We'll put you through a cognitive or a memory type test that also tests your reaction time, as you mentioned, and then we'll test your balance, how you balance in standing, trying to walk, and basically people that have had a concussion, if they go through that balance or the kind of the field sobriety test that you see police put people through when they suspect you've had too much to drink and you've been on the road, even 2 days after all of your symptoms that you notice have gone away from concussion, you're still balancing like you're intoxicated. So really the medical advice is until your symptoms go away, you shouldn't drive for that and then for another 2 days.
And I think I was put on 2 weeks just because I would go there, they would test, then they would retest.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't subsiding. Even though I felt good, I felt okay. I mean, a little bit foggy, but I didn't.
Typical symptom, that description of feeling foggy.
Yeah, and it's just to me, I was just shocked. And then, of course, you go through the whole aspect. Your insurance company wants to know, and then they're taking pictures of your car, and all the lawyers are like, "Well, how do you have a concussion from this?" I go, and I actually told the attorney at the time. I said, "Look, here's what I'm going to do. You get in my car. I'm going to come drive and you don't know when I'm going to come."
Good response, really.
And I'm going to hit you and not expect anything, and then you tell me how it feels. I said because I was sort of getting ticked because it's like
I don't blame
you don't like. I think they thought like, oh, he's just playing it up. Like, look, I don't want to go through these neuropsych exams, which I had to go through. It was just a big deal, and I'm going. It was frustrating, but I am now cognizant. Like you can see it, and I know you have preached that a lot of soccer repetitive hits by football, but you can also get it by going in your basement and hitting the I-beam and you're not expecting it. And
one of my kids got hurt like that, hitting their head in the I-beam in the basement.
I put, you know what I do now? I put pool noodles now. I've cut pool noodles.
Good idea.
And I put them all over. My wife actually thought it was a good idea, which is rare because that doesn't happen very often. But what in your opinion, trust me, I'm not tired of talking about it because I think it's fascinating because I think it happens more often than people give it credit for. Back in the old days, it's like, just give him a smelling salt, he'll be fine. Shake it off. But there's long-term effects to that where
yes, especially if it's mismanaged coming out of the gate.
Right.
Yes.
I actually, if you don't mind,
no,
sure, jump in.
When I was 10, I experienced, it may have been my first or my second, I don't remember, but I was during a football game. I took a wild snap and I ran around, and there was a girl on the other team, and she got pancakes. She was on all fours getting up. I tried to hit a spin move, and I got table-topped over her, and I landed on my neck, and I ended up passing out and having a seizure midfield. Wow. And when I woke up and I got to the hospital, they told me that I had a concussion. But since then, I've been diagnosed with migraines. And I don't get them that often anymore, but it was pretty like multiple times a month that I would be getting migraines after that diagnosed concussion, and even still to this day,
concussion
not as
will
often.
Trigger migraines.
Yeah, well, that just made me think about it because you were saying how the CTE may be affected with ALS. It just kind of I know personally, it's not ALS, but there are long-term effects to having, a concussion even at like a young age.
Yeah, one concussion unfortunately can trigger a lifetime of migraine headaches. It's rare, but it does happen. And the other thing to keep in mind is it isn't so much concussions that cause CTE and ALS. It's the multiple subconcussive hits, the thousands of hits you get from playing football or heading a soccer ball or hitting the ice in hockey. Those are the things that in the end cause CTE, and a significant number, unfortunately, people also get, it's much more likely that you get ALS if you are a football or a soccer player or a hockey player.
How important do you think it is to be teaching athletes how to fall correctly? Because I feel like that's something that I didn't really understand at first, but as I got older and, my concussions started to pile. Yes, please be louder, Judd.
Yeah, don't worry, we saw you.
I've definitely tallied them up throughout the years at this point. I just lost my train of thought. He's walking around
that's okay.
with a lamp and stuff like that.
He does that to a lot of people.
Talking about training how to fall.
Yeah. So not until high school did I really learn how to fall correctly. To be able to tuck your chin, to remember to tuck your chin. They would tell me arch your back, tuck your chin so
and
that it
let your knees buckle.
Yeah, so that it turns into more of a rolling motion than a straight
You
fall.
need to learn how to fold up, but kind of a side effect of that, and probably more important in terms of everyday athletic injuries, is learning how to jump and to land and to fall prevents ACL injuries. And then tying everything back in a concussion, if you have a concussion for at least the next year, you're far more likely to get an ACL injury because your coordination isn't quite as good.
That's one I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm blessed my ACLs are still intact at that point.
And as bad as a concussion is, nobody wants one. I don't want anybody to get one, but absolutely nobody wants an ACL injury, because we hear about ACL injuries and you'll get the surgery and the rehab and you'll come back. Well, only about 80% of athletes come back from an ACL surgery if they're at the high school, college, professional level. Only about 80% come back, and very few of them come back at the same level of performance, even if they do make it back.
Probably an even smaller percentage,
Yes.
Which is like, specifically if we're going to talk about sports, like Jason Tatum.
Yes.
The whole thing with his Achilles.
Yeah.
Like, but anything that you're talking
another
body.
semi-catastrophic injury, torn Achilles.
Yeah.
I mean, just the thought of those is just.
You're more likely to tear your Achilles, ankle injuries as well, for at least a year after a concussion.
What do you do, or what would you say or recommend? Say for instance, me. All right, I've had one that I know of. I probably hit my head a couple times on the beam, right?
Sure.
So, I'm not saying I had a concussion, but what would you say to a person like me going, what would I do, or what can I do to help myself long term? You can't prevent ALS. I don't think there's any study you would know better.
Right. One concussion isn't going to cause ALS.
No, I'm just saying, what would you do for brain health? How about that? That's maybe a different question. Is there something there's a study that says, like take
omega-3 fatty acids
and take that
fish oil? Yeah,
I know that's what they prescribed to me.
At the concussion.
While I was under their protocol, but I didn't know that was an ongoing.
I take omega-3 fatty acids. I take it every day.
Interesting.
About 1,000 milligrams of omega-3, and you need to make sure that it's a high quality brand of fish oil. If it's fish oil and you look on the label at the supermarket or the drugstore, and 1,000 milligrams of fish oil, 300 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. That's not a high quality brand. You're looking for a 1,200 milligram capsule of fish oil with 900 to 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids, and the evidence on brain health and omega-3 fatty acids is very strong.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, like I said, I stopped taking it. I took it for a month. I was under their care for 2. They said, look, this will help you. No, bright lights. Don't stress your brain. Don't cause yourself to think too much, which is not a problem for me to begin with. So I just sort of stayed where I was supposed to be. But it is something. I know the NFL and I think some colleges now have got those foam helmets
and they don't work.
They don't.
The Guardian caps are so bull.
I would like to know about that.
They don't work.
They don't work.
They do not work. It's a marketing gimmick
to make bobbleheads look cooler.
Well, it makes it look like they're trying to do something, and there was laboratory research that shows that they help, but then when they actually put them on the field, they found that they don't do anything, and they may make things worse. There's two kids. It didn't happen this past football season, but in the fall of 24, 2 catastrophic head injuries occurred at the high school level with kids wearing Guardian caps.
Well, it adds weight to the helmet. It adds weight to the head.
Exactly. It adds weight to the head, so so adding that weight to the head also puts the neck at risk. There's a linebacker for the Cleveland Browns who just retired. He hurt his neck severely, and he's still able to walk. He's not paralyzed, but it's severe neck injury that could have caused paralysis. He was wearing a Guardian cap when he got hit. He put his head down, and his head caught on the opposing football player he was trying to tackle. And for years, we were taught with helmets that you wanted a shiny, smooth helmet so it wouldn't catch on the opponent's helmet or catch on the opponent's chest And with that shiny surface, it would slide. There would be no friction. Because the last thing, and that was what we were taught forever. And then all of a sudden, we have these helmets that come out now with ridges. And even worse, putting something soft on the top of the helmet, so now the helmet can catch on something. You don't want that helmet to catch when you're coming at full speed and your head's down a little bit, and now your entire body weight's coming up behind you, because that's how you break your neck. Literally, in an athletic event, when an athlete breaks their neck because they hit their head, it's the weight of the momentum of their weight coming up behind them that crushes their cervical spine.
See, and I was a basketball player and I ran track, so I don't know. I mean, besides watching it, and I see Romeo Dobbs from, we talk about the Packers, I know, sorry. But he wears that, and it's like, wow, then why isn't everybody wearing it? And now I till 1 minute ago, I thought that was like everyone should be wearing them. The extra, now they're making them super cool, and now there's no actual benefit. Actually, worse.
The NFL
probably.
finally, I've been saying for years, the NFL was saying it reduces concussions by 50%. And my answer to the NFL was, show us the study. So they finally published their study in July, and it was published in a reputable sports medicine journal. And the NFL didn't put out a press release about it. I happened to find the study by chance. And right in the study, guardian cap doesn't work.
Their marketing people are like, yeah, why don't you just put that over there someplace?
Every former football player knows the feeling of like when summer camp starts and you put on your helmet, regardless with the guardian cap, and you have, your neck gets sore.
Your neck gets sore because of the extra weight.
Exactly. Yeah. So then to have that extra added, I don't see it.
That's why players don't like wearing them, because their necks continue to hurt.
Yeah. Last time we were together, actually, we talked about the fact that I had the Axiom helmet, if you remember, the new one.
Yes.
So do you think that's the way to go, just to continue to try and improve helmets and leave them at that? Or
the newer helmets, despite what the NFL says, don't prevent concussion either. But they very well may prevent the damage to the brain from the thousands of hits, the thousands of subconcussive hits that cause CTE. There's preliminary data that shows these newer helmets do reduce the subconcussive forces that football players face in practice and in games that don't cause a concussion. They down at Emory, they do MRIs on the brains of people that they study, and the people wearing the older helmets, concussion rate was the same, but the people wearing the older helmets, their brain scans show damage after a football season, and with the people wearing the newer technology helmets, you didn't see that damage. It's too soon to say, because I know there's only a season's worth of football. I'd like to see that same study reproduced on somebody who's been playing football and comparing those in the new helmets and those in the old helmets that have been doing it for 4 to 8 years. Then we'd have a better idea.
Okay.
I mean, and we haven't talked about soccer and that's.
Well, the unfortunate thing about soccer is, in terms of ALS, you have a better chance of the ALS rate is higher in soccer players than it is in football players.
I mean, if you're talking about with all those sub hits, I mean,
all those subconcussive hits heading the soccer ball.
Depending on what position you play, I mean, I barely got hit.
Sure.
So, CTE is probably not finding me, but I could totally see. Cause I remember being a young kid and then seeing those. Like those graphics where it's like, oh, soccer players actually record more concussions than any other sport, and that surprised me.
Football is the champ, whether you like it or not, but girls soccer is an extremely close second when it comes to concussion rates.
Yeah,
and ACLs, right?
Girls soccer is the winner, and probably girls soccer, girls basketball, the winners for ACL tears.
Well, with that being said, we're going to head to break. We'll be right back with the morning show with Dan Repay on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after these breaks.
What if one evening could change a life? At Legacy Rising, every moment helps bring hope to children, families, and individuals across Northwest Indiana. Join Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana on May 7th at the Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana, for an unforgettable night of inspiration, elegant dining, and powerful stories of resilience. Your participation helps fund critical mental health programs supporting those who need it most in our community. For tickets, text Legacy Rising 2026 to 33100 or visit our website at mhanwi.org.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strack and Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
I'm Jerry Williams. For over 35 years, I protected Lake County as a state trooper and interim police chief of Gary. This is my home, and keeping our community safe has been my life's work. I've dedicated my career to fighting crime. Now I'm running for sheriff to get the job done and deliver real results. As a crime fighter, not a politician, I'd be honored to have your vote. Paid for by the committee to elect Jerry Williams for sheriff.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
Okay. It is 8:03 in the region. You are listening to WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana, and this is the morning show with Dan Repay. We are going to do one last little traffic and weather from you guys. Hopefully they did not get better. Okay, so we'll try and make this as quick as possible with how much traffic is going on. 80 West, you're going to have traffic starting all the way out by Hobart, heading into and across the border. And then once you try to get up into 94 West, you're going to hit traffic pretty much all the way out until you get into the Rosemont area near O'Hare. The Stevenson Expressway, or the Eisenhower Expressway, heading east and west also has a bunch of traffic buildup, and the Stevenson Expressway as well, heading north and south. So you're pretty much hitting traffic everywhere, even around 41 on Lakeshore Drive is now starting to back up heading into the city. So there really is not any good routes to get there. So make sure that if you are driving to work that you leave a few minutes early, because you are going to hit a lot of backup. And then as for the weather, today is a high of 70 and a real feel of 71. I have not been outside in a few hours, so I'm not sure if any of the thunderstorm spots have hit, but that is what the weather says, so be wary of that. Other than that, it's just going to be breezy with some clouds and a little bit of sun. Friday, the day to look forward to, a low of 49 and a high of 82 with a real feel of 82. Some morning fog, but other than that, it's just going to be some clouds and sunshine. And then for the weekend, the temperature will drop back to around mid-50s with a real feel of 55 and some showers in the early morning. And then Sunday, the rain will stop, but the weather will stay very much the same with a high of 51 and a real feel of 52. So there is your traffic and weather for the week, the rest of the week. And we do have a caller, so we will get right into that. That's all right with you, Dan?
Absolutely.
All right. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Eddie Lamone, Bishop Noel Institute class of 1985. Good morning.
Oh, 1985. Well, this is Dan Repay, 91. So we've got it almost covered. I almost was there when you were there, but I think you would have been with my brothers. I think, let's see, I got a sister in 81.
That's
brother,
Carl.
Brother 84, 85, 87, 91, and 93. So we were
have
there.
all the years covered.
Yeah, so we just
Yes.
missed each other. But what you got for us this morning? I think some big special events happening.
Yeah, we're having a little shindig, that's been going on at Bishop Noel since, goodness, I can't remember when it started. I don't have the date, but it's been going on since we were all in school. It's the annual gala. Back then they call it the Emporium or the auction or the big event, but now it's the gala. We've sent it off site to Wicker Park, and this is a tradition that's been going on for so many years, where really our alumni come together and give back. Right. Currently, I'm on the road covering the country. Last 5 weeks, I've been on the road in the Southeast. Now in Texas, I'm calling you from Texas to engage our alumni. And, you know, what is Bishop Noel? It's really all of us. And so we're all out here pulling together towards a common cause, and that is the cause that really kind of formed us as adolescents. And that is April 25th at 6 o'clock. And if folks want to come out, alumni or not, come out to support a great event and sit down, play the dinner. It's a gala vibe. With a little music to follow, and just give back to an institution, really, that has really shaped Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was there, the big thing was to be a student. You could volunteer, and you could help serve, or you could help do decorations, or you were giving away door prizes, or whatever it was. And by the way, my classmate Phil Talon and I were chairman for 2 years during the Emporium years. It was, wow. I think we're at the Dynasty at that point, but there was always a flux between going at the field house and doing it on the road, and so there was always a battle. But what does the gala do? What can someone expect when they go there? I mean, I know what it is, but for the folks that are out there, you don't necessarily have to be a Bishop Noel alumni. You can always wish to be one, and I understand that. But what would I do? What can I expect? What do I dress like? Am I in a tux, or what am I doing there?
Okay, well, a tux would be nice, but I don't think that would be necessary.
All right.
I think a jacket. It's a gala environment, so cocktail attire is appropriate. I think people can expect a very nice, serene reconnection cocktail hour from 6 to 7:30ish. And then there's a plated dinner to follow. And then there's a live auction. There's a silent auction that goes on, and then there's dancing, let's say from 9:30, 10 o'clock till midnight, and that will be the event for the April 25th again.
I'm going to put you on the. Oh, sorry.
Sure. Go ahead. No, you're okay. We have a little delay here in Texas.
That's okay. I'm going to put you on the spot. What kind of things we have for the auction? Do you have any in mind, or off the top of your head, or?
Sure. I mean, I didn't have the updated list. You caught me off guard.
Sorry.
I think there are trips. There are trips. There are signed jerseys for Notre Dame football players. There's very nice wines, baskets, elevated wines, if you will, that are being auctioned off. But really, trips, signed jerseys, tickets to Notre Dame, tickets to box tickets to Sox games, or Cubs games, travel, events, high-end items. Will be some of the things that will be raffled off.
And I know they had some golf outings if you're a golfer out there, and I know the baskets.
Yeah.
The baskets, and they had gift cards for a lot of the restaurants, and there are a lot of people that donate that want to give back to this cause and to to the school, and I know this funds a lot of the, some of the operations, and I know they have some special donations you can give to either the theater. I know when the last one I was at, I think it was 2 years ago, there was a special for the theater. I think the theater teacher had just passed, and so they did a special collection for that. How would someone reach out to you, get some tickets, or if there's more information that that we necessarily aren't providing to them? Is there a website, your phone number, your email? You give it to us, and hopefully we can pass it along and allow people to interact.
Let me give you that information. So if anybody wants to get involved, there are raffles you can do remotely. You can donate directly. We just had an alumnus from the, I think, class of '84 who remembered parking cars. You mentioned student activities at the GALO, parking cars, and remember parking a Rolls Royce. He generously gave $5,000. And so. But if you want to get plugged in, my email is E as in Edward. It's E Limon, Limon, back then pronounced Lyman. So ELIMON at bishopnoll.org. Again, elimon at bishopnoll.org. My number is 713-899-7513. Welcome to call me, text me, email me. All forms of communication are welcome. What else did I miss there?
Well, is it too late if I'm a business or if I'm someone out there or an alumni to donate an item for this event? I mean, it's 10 days away, or less than that, 9 days away. Is it too late now to be able to donate something, an item, if I'm a business owner or something like that?
It's never too late, and we welcome businesses to donate because our community at Bishop Knoll is extremely loyal. We support our businesses that donate in various fashions, but no, never too late to reach out to me, and we will accommodate any forms of generosity that you're willing to express. One additional note is that all of the funds raised at this event will be benefiting students, and this directly affects them and supporting them through the college, through the Bishop Knoll experience financially. So. We welcome it, and we thank everyone out there who will be coming and supporting.
And if you want to bid on items and you can't show up, say you're in Texas and you can't make it back to the Wicker Park Social Center, how would they log on to be able to bid on some of these items?
I think the best way to do it is to contact me. There will be a link sent out where they can participate in this silent auction. Okay, and they'll have I think a day or so where they can log in, scan it, submit their names, their bids, and register that way. Myself, or call the high school, Bishop Knoll High School, and ask for Julie Sandoval, and we'll walk them through the setup process because there is a registration process.
All right, that makes sense. Anything else you want to add? It's your air.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for the time here to allow us to share with everyone details about the event. It's an amazing event. It's a high energy. It's can't describe it. It's been going on for so long. It's a tradition at Knoll. If you want to be a part of it and reconnect or stay connected, no gift is too small, and we welcome all. Please feel free to contact us at any time so that we can connect you. We've expressed yourself in a generous fashion, and we thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate it. Appreciate your time, and good luck in Texas reuniting with the old Warriors down there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. You have a great day.
All right, you too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And that was Eddie Limon, who's spearheading the gala event for Bishop Knoll. He's given his email address. He's given the date of the 25th, which is the date of the gala. And if you have any questions, you can email him or call the school. So with that, do we have break callers? I don't know what we've got right now.
We have another caller actually just called in. So we will head straight to that. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Oh, I just dialed you, and now you put me right on?
Well,
First ring just for you.
Do you need warm-up or what?
Oh. No, should I call back and wait and be on hold for 30 minutes, or should I go ahead and talk?
Your call.
That's fine.
I'm here till 9
You're-
o'clock. After that, you're on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. Good morning. How you guys doing? You
Good.
staying dry? No holes in the roof?
No, I think everything's
you keeping
good.
the flood control?
None that go all the way
You're
through the
making
roof.
Sure, you're making sure the new old WJO studio doesn't get flooded, right?
It's looking good to me. It's improving every time I come here. What you got?
You know,
What's
I
on your
had,
mind?
Yeah, when John came on, of all times, I had to have a Zoom conference with some people, and I got done. But you were talking about stuff, and I want to bring something up. Over there on 12 and 20, just east of Klein Avenue on 12 and 20, which is a state highway, our yard is on the north side of that 12 and 20. It's Plain Street, okay? Well, anyhow, years ago, it was all just gravel at the end of the road by that ditch. And we always flooded, and the guys that parked their trucks there had to wear these rubber boots that go halfway up their ankle. Well, when we opened up our academy and he's got the money built up to pave it, I told my boss, I said, let me have this buddy come out. He's got this laser, how they do surveys of land, to level lands out,
Yep.
Because every time that ditch flooded, it went into our property and went halfway up. And I told my boss, I said, before you have these paver guys come out, I said, I want you to have my friend come out and show you something. I says, because he called the state, and the state says it's not our problem, it's your problem. But underneath the road, that tube or tile, whatever they have, because they come out, the state, they come out and get a bucket and, get the weeds out. But still, like yesterday, the road's flooded, the corners on each end are rotted out. Sometime a truck's going to turn a corner and going to tip over. Yesterday, a car made a U-turn in front of me and didn't realize that big puddle there, went down into the hole. Luckily, he got out. But the thing is when they came out, I took a basketball, and I showed my boss. I rolled it. I said, this is going downhill. When that ditch floods, it comes into your property. And I says, the state, he told me the state would never, says that's our problem. So I told him, I says, have this guy, I got my buddy come out, bring this back of that lot up 2%, have it come up this way. Okay, now, ever since we paved that lot, that corner gets flooded. Like this morning, it's going to be flooded. Two cars can't turn that corner there or turn in or turn out because, simple reason, underneath that Blaine Street, that thing is either plugged or something because the east side of Blaine will not flow over to the right side to go like to the west or drain down the proper way. But, it's a shame that, now you're talking about the Bears just before I ended. If them Chicago Bears come to Indiana and Hammond, they're going to do all this refineggering for this area, leveling it out, straightening it out, paving it. How is that going to concern of the water flow and the flow of the water coming off paved lots going into the rivers up here?
Well, there's always, thank you for the call. And there's always a calculation when you do a development of any sort. Engineers can figure that out fairly simple as far as impervious pavement and how it drains and where it needs to go, where it needs to hold for its time. It appears as though your situation is simply, or the situation that you were describing is simply some sort of clogged culvert. I would assume INDOT can do it. I could reach out to them later on this morning and see if they can take a look at it. But that seems like something. But as far as development is concerned, the development always happens. Roads happen. But engineers, smart enough people to figure that type of stuff out. And as long as you're in a community that has also a knowledgeable engineer, which Hammond does, I don't see that as being a problem. And quite honestly, where the stadium is supposed or potentially being built would be so close to Lake Michigan, the water doesn't really go into the tributaries. It would go straight into Lake Michigan. So there is no tributaries where it really gets stopped. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just curious about that because, all these data centers and all these, soft lands are getting paved, the water usually soaks into the ground. And I was just curious, all this development, it concerns me about, the flooding situations, but I'm going to let you go. But You've had a good show this morning. I enjoyed listening to you, and just have a safe and dry day.
I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you brought up data centers because there's a lot of misinformation about data centers. We got a phone call. I really would like to talk about.
Finish your thought.
No. I mean,
I was just giving you the sign.
No,
Please
I
finish
appreciate
your
it.
thought.
No, I appreciate it. It's just data centers. I think there's a lot of people that have some understanding and misconceptions, and everyone's like, "Well, you're developing on farm field." Well, more than likely, in most of these communities, I will say in Hobart or in the one in South County, like your house wasn't there probably in the 1800s. So you're putting a data center, and it's just the fact that there is a bad stigma on data centers. I think there's a lot of positive there. And I think, quite honestly, the use of water has been greatly exaggerated by some people that simply don't want them. I get it that if you live next door, no one wants to live next door to something, but I think there's ways to offset that. And certainly I'd like to get into data centers. I'd actually bring some people in that do this for a living. But as far as I'm knowledgeable about, data centers don't really cause any extensive issues with water. And just because it's a farm field, it could just as easily be a housing district. So thank you, Joe, partner Joe here, my co-host today. What you got here on line, we'll call it 3.
We have, I don't know. Good morning. You're on the air. Who is this?
That previous call was brought to you by Sherwin-Williams, watching paint dry.
Well, that happens. We all can't be dynamic. I'm not dynamic. Right now It's 8:21, and I'm holding on from waking up so early this morning, so it'll be a long day. But I hope that the Frappuccino will push me through.
Mr. Repay, you're a political bigwig. What are your thoughts on this Peggy Katona thing?
I'm a political bigwig. I think you got the wrong Repay, but I was in elected office. As far as I read, I mean, the thing is this. I mean, I'll be very honest. Most elected officials don't do the work in the office. And it's going to sound weird, but their job is to be an administrator. They administer, they make sure that things are going the way they're supposed to be going. Some people, some elected officials are more active than others. I have only read what probably you all read. I haven't really caught up with any people down in the county, although I do have to go to the county, I think, tomorrow to get more information. But, the general 95% of the work happens with the employees that are out there. And I worked in the auditor's office, so we know what we had to do, and it had to be done. As far as, she had injuries, as far as what I know, I mean, what I've read, I haven't talked to her in probably 10 years. But I mean, as far as, it's just really whether they're doing their job or not doing their job. That's the way I look at it. I mean, if you want to look at elections, I mean, does a sheriff have to be a police officer, or do they have to be an administrator? Can they be just a regular citizen that has a business background? So that's my 2 cents on what I've read.
Well, let's stick with this particular person.
Okay.
If she allegedly hasn't been in the office in 3 to 4 years, you're okay with your tax dollars for her salary being affected that way?
Well, I'm just going by allegedly. If she hasn't been there, all I care about, quite honestly, is that the job gets done. Now, do I think it's a perfect situation? No. I would like to know more information, but I can't necessarily base my opinion on what I read in a paper. Now, if I come back in 2 weeks after I've talked to some people and that there's been major issues, then I would have a problem. But I'm not going to judge on a newspaper article. I wouldn't judge you on a newspaper article. I would hope no one would judge me on a newspaper article. I don't know what's happening. All I know is that she had fallen and that she has been dealing with those injuries. I don't know as far as the administration of how things are going, or if there's been any errors or omissions going on within that office. I mean, I just don't want to judge with only just a newspaper article. Now, I could change. I'd be subject to change my mind if after I know some more information, but I don't go down to the county, but maybe once every 2 months. And my work in the county auditor's office is simply to get a stamp for the real estate department.
Okay, I'd be interested in your answer in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think I come back on the 30th of April, and I would be happy to. I probably very similar to a lot of people, they read about it in the paper. I read about it, but, a lot of the people that I worked with, and that was 17 years ago, I'm not sure how many still work there. So I'd be happy to look at it and give my opinion, but I'm just telling you from the perspective, the elected official isn't supposed to be the worker bee. They're supposed to be the administrator. And so as long as things are going the way they should, and I don't know if they are or they're not. I mean, our tax bills are going out, so that's a good thing, I guess, in a way. And I was actually going to talk about how to appeal your tax bill. But if things are going well, then that's how she decides to run her office. But if they're not going well, then I'd have a big problem with it, because ultimately that does impact us. There's problems with collections. There's problems with the assessment of taxes. So I would just reserve the right to at least let me do some more looking. I don't, because I don't know all the facts, and I don't want to necessarily judge on one story. But thank you. I appreciate the call.
May I direct a question to Joe?
Sure. Joe's my partner. Would you like to sign up for my partner?
Yeah, if you want to be his partner, you can. But yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Joe, can you negotiate a price drop on your house with it being for sale right now?
I don't know if I would want to. We put a lot of money into that patio in the back. So we're trying to get some return on our investment.
Well, you said it's your house.
Yeah.
You said it's your house.
Yeah.
It's your house. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, I pay for all the bills, everything. It's all mine. In my name, everything.
I'm impressed that you're living
there at 22. So you're not going to address that and show some appreciation?
I addressed it in the chat. Obviously, I'm very appreciative of my parents for giving me the life that I have.
Maybe you could say it on air in case your dad's listening.
Hey, I'm positive
Dad,
he's listening.
thanks for everything.
He's reading. He's in the chat, actually. He's in the chat right now, so I know that he's watching. He knows that I'm very appreciative of him and all the stuff that he does, especially my mom. My mom's in town, actually, right now, so it's been lovely having her back for the week. Someone to help me cook meals.
So are you, since it's your house, are you renting a room to her since she's here?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like $50 a day or something.
Okay.
Times are tough.
I just wondered if you could address the appreciation for your parents.
No, I appreciate my parents to the fullest. They're wonderful people, and I don't know. We'll see what time she gets on here. Maybe we'll throw her on air for a little bit.
There you go.
We'll see. But
thanks,
take care.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. And on the 30th, I hope to report back. And hello, Joe's dad that's watching on the chat all the way from Connecticut.
Yep. Well, with that being said, it is a perfect time to take a break, so Let's go and do that. Stay tuned. We still got one more segment. We got half an hour left with the morning show with Dan Repay on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. We will be right back after these breaks.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
State Senator Dan Darnell was supposed to be different. He promised to fight for Hoosier families and stand with President Trump. He failed. Darnell voted against President Trump's agenda in Washington. That hurt Hoosier families, and he voted to let a Chinese company buy Hoosier farmland, putting China before us. Dan Darnell, opposing Trump, voting like a liberal, letting us down. A disgrace.
President Trump has endorsed conservative Trevor DeVries for state senate, a real Republican who will fight for Hoosier values. Trevor DeVries will stand with Trump, protect Hoosier farmland from China, defeat the liberal agenda, and never let you down. A true America First conservative. The right choice for Indiana. Endorsed by Trump. Trevor DeVries for State Senate. Election day is May 5th. Paid for by American Leadership PAC.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its third generation providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8:31 in the region, and you are listening to the morning show with Dan Repay on WJOB 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. Let me take a quick look. I guess we'll do one last traffic and weather before we send you guys off for the day. Traffic is just as bad as when we last left off. Actually, arguably worse, at least in the region, as the traffic on 80 East and West has gotten worse. Klein Avenue still has the road construction, so it is down to one lane over there on Klein. As for, actually, I guess it is cleared up a little bit.
Oh, good.
As far as heading into the city on 94, not much. As obviously you get deeper into the city, it will go right back to being pretty heavy traffic, especially all the way through O'Hare. The Eisenhower Expressway looks very much the same with lots of traffic heading both east and west, as well as the Stevenson North and South is very much the same with a lot of traffic still going through it. 41 heading north, the traffic has built up on that road too, so no longer a little cheat way to get there, to get to the city. There is no good way to get there. You are going to hit traffic, so keep that in mind. That is your traffic for the day, for the rest of the day. And then as for weather today, Thursday, March 16th, or April 16th, is going to be a high of 70, a real feel of 71, with some thunderstorm spots in the morning. 82, Friday is going to be a high of 82 and a real feel of 82, with some morning fog. Other than that, it's going to be lots of sunshine. And then to start off the weekend, you're going to get some rain in the morning, and the temperature will drop to a real feel of 55. But it will die down. The rain will die down as the day goes on. And then as for Sunday, the rain will completely stop, but the weather won't go up, with a real feel of 52 and a high of 51. And that is your traffic and weather. We have no callers, so I guess it's just me and you right now for this last segment.
Which is fine. We're running to the finish line on this one, and I didn't thank John Doherty for coming in, and I appreciate it, and it was enjoyable because, like I said, I used to read his articles. He was the reason why I went into athletic training, although I never finished that. But it was a good start, and I met a lot of good people and learned a lot of good information. And he said it was 41 years that he's been writing it. So I'm going to tell you, I've been reading it for quite a bit. I mean, I was 12 years old at that time. So it's cool. He's still active. He's still involved. He's still engaged, and he has a lot of good information because I really thought those hats, what do you call them? The Guardian caps were like worth something. And. Yeah. And, it's funny because it's like, oh, well, they're really, concerned about their health. And then you see the study, or he talks about the study that came out that says really that's not.
Well, I got to believe that the people that are wearing it genuinely believe that it's helping.
Sure.
Right? Because there's no reason to make yourself look silly and then not have it help you at all.
Romeo Dobbs did well for me in fantasy football, so I mean I'm happy that he does wear it because he did well for me, even though he's a Packer and you don't like the Packers, and there's a lot of reasons.
Are you
for
a
that.
Packers fan?
Oh no, I'm not a Packers fan. I'm a Bears fan, and I was at the playoff game when the Bears beat the Packers when it was a lot really cold in January. So it was a great game, and I enjoyed the victory. I do have some people that are Packers fans, and that's okay. I don't hold it against them.
My best friend is a Packers fan, and I very much hold it against him.
Well,
But-
you're still best friends.
Yeah. I will say it's weird because when I tell people about being a Cowboys fan, so my dad growing up is if he's still watching this, he knows he is a bandwagon, and he'll admit it to you guys that he is a bandwagon. And growing up in the 80s and 90s, he basically picked the teams that were good then.
So he's a Seahawks fan this year because they won the Super Bowl?
No.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, he picked those teams that were good back then, and he stuck with them.
Okay.
But as far as I'm concerned, when he picked those teams, that's when everyone was in their peak. So, like the Cowboys, I'm a Cowboys fan for football. I'm a Yankees fan for baseball.
Oh, come on.
And I'm a Celtics fan for basketball.
I can see the Celtics from Connecticut, but what's the other stuff?
It's all mine is basically just they're my dad's favorite team, so
All
that's
right.
who I grew up watching, and I've been fans of them I'm also a Michigan fan. Michigan University
we gotta stop.
fan. Yeah,
All right.
like I said, it's I get flack from every single sports fan that I've ever talked to when they ask who my favorite teams are.
And I'm going to be added onto that list.
Yeah, and
That's okay.
Rightfully so. I take it for what it is, but I just tell everyone I was like, this has been me since birth, right? So
One of my best friends and college roommate was a Seattle Seahawks fan, and he had a tattoo of Seattle Seahawks, and I looked at him like in the 90s going, what are you, like the Seahawks were terrible. Now all of a sudden he's got his revenge the last few years with the Legion of Boom and everything else. So I have to give it to him. He's stuck with them thick or thin. So anyways, great for John to be here. The last caller brought up a good point about taxes and the auditor's office. This is a general service announcement. My previous job was director of tax for Lake County. So we were in charge of all the taxes to make sure that they were done correctly in the auditor's office nonetheless. So what I'm going to try to help with, and we're not going to get too deep into the woods, but when you get your bill, everyone will see either a rise, fall, stay the same. The important thing for everybody is that you have to make sure the assessed value is correct. If that is incorrect, that is something that you can appeal. And the reason and how you can appeal it is simply look at the assessed value. So if your house is valued at, I don't know, whatever you want it to be. Let's be a $200,000 house, and you know that your house, they're assessing you at $200,000, and you know that your neighbor just sold a very similar house, that 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, whatever it is, and they sold it for $140,000. You would use that information to go to your local assessor and say, I think you have me assessed incorrectly. And I'm oversimplifying this, but certainly a neighbor has sold their house and it's very similar. It doesn't have to be exact. Someone may have patio, someone may have a deck, someone may have an extra bedroom. But the reality is, as long as it's close, then you wouldn't appeal it. If it's far off, you would appeal it. And the importance of it is this: once you get your tax bill, you have 30 days to appeal. So you can't think about it, talk about it. You have to do it quickly and get that appeal into the assessor office. So if you're in North Township, your appeal is through the county. If you're in Hobart Township, you go to the Hobart Township assessor, St. John Township assessor. But the key is you can only appeal. You can't say, well, I'm paying too much in taxes. That's not going to be an appeal that you're going to win. What you're going to win is your assessment's too high, and sometimes they do that. They sometimes mix neighborhoods, and it happens. It's an error, and I've seen it. And it's an easy process that you can do yourself. You don't need a tax professional. Sorry, tax professionals that get 33% of the savings. I've done my own. You just look at it and you ask them to recalibrate it. Now, if you're being assessed, this is where the county could make an error. If you're being assessed $200,000 and your house is valued at, and you think you could sell it for $400,000, here's a helpful hint. Don't go in the county and tell them that you think you could be assessed for more unless you're looking out for some great vibes for winning lotto, sometimes it is underassessed a little bit, and that's okay. It's a benefit to the taxpayer. You don't want to go in there and go, well, my neighbor sold it for 500 and they're only assessing me for 300, because what they're going to end up doing is they're going to move your assessment to the 500 and then you're going to pay more taxes. Somewhat confusing, but just basically use, if you have a real estate friend, there's plenty of them out there. I'm sure they're going to love me for telling me to tell you to visit them. Or you can go online and check the houses that are in your neighborhood that are for sale and go, okay, here's a like-minded house in my neighborhood. This is what it's valued at. It's not selling. It's been on the market for 200 days. This is my comp that you want. There are some houses that you're not going to have a comparable price to. And in that case, you may need a tax professional. But in the just general sense, you are going to get your tax bills. And I will guarantee you, if you called either the treasurer's office, and they're going to love me, the treasurer's office, auditor's office, they'll all be able to provide you right now what your taxes are. So even though you didn't get a bill, if you have a mortgage, it goes to your mortgage company or your bank. You still be able to tell, or you be able to go online to check your taxes. Your taxes, I know they're out because I know a couple of people that have already called me and asked me some questions about their assessment. Even though I'm retired from it for 16 years and I've now done the river, I still have a bunch of worthless information in the tax department that I could help people. So appeal your taxes if you feel as though you're being overassessed, but you can't appeal them because you think you're paying too much taxes. So there's my words of wisdom for this Thursday program. Hopefully you were assessed properly. They're generally pretty good at it. They use sales data. They use building permits to justify and determine the assessments that you get. So there you go, Joe. Are you smarter for knowing that or no?
I don't know if I really really retained any of that.
Well, see, here's what I'll say. The house that you have in St. John, you look at it and go, can I sell it for that much? That's the first question you give yourself. So not that it's your house, it's your parents'. I don't want you to sell your parents' house when they're not there. But if they say, I could sell it for that much, then you're being assessed. If you can't sell it for that much and you're like, there's no way I can get whatever number that is for that house, then that is your time for appeal. And the most important thing for everyone to realize is there is a time clock. It goes once you get your bill. You won't allow to appeal it unless there is a actual error that they said, oh, well, you had 5 bedrooms and you only had 2, or you have 3. Like, they can change that at any time. But if it's just an assessed issue, you have a finite period of time to appeal. And if you don't appeal, then you're out of luck. You don't get to another bite at the apple. So, what else do we want to talk about today? I mean, it's 8:42. We already know the traffic is terrible. I mean,
it is coming to the end of the show. Honestly, I'm surprised. Oh, 2 people just called in.
Well,
Saved by the
now
bell.
here, maybe this is the tax help that I made.
Yeah,
maybe a side business.
One drop, but we still have one
That's
person.
okay.
So
they got nervous.
Yeah. All right. Well, caller, you are on the air. Welcome to WJOB.
Well, speaking of auditors and taxes, I read the article in the Hammond Times about our incredibly distinguished and incredibly loyal worker, Peggy Katona, who hasn't been to work in 2.5 years. And she's on the ballot to be the auditor again. How is it possible someone can run for an office, not show up for 2.5 years, and on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute stupidest, and there's only 2 choices, let's say a 9.9 and a 10, how dumb is this county that they're gonna elect this woman to run the office again? And she hasn't been to work in 2.5 years. And it's the auditor's office. How is it possible she can do that remotely? Because we know she can't. Nobody can.
Well, I don't know.
And yet
Go
they're gonna nominate her again on the Democratic ballot, and they'll probably put her in again in November. hasn't been to work, literally hasn't been down to the county building in 2.5 years.
Yeah, like as I said to the previous caller, I did see the article. I don't, and I haven't, but I will talk to some folks down at the county when I go down there. I think it's tomorrow. I'm scheduled to go down there to verify. Like I said, I just have a newspaper article, and I told the previous caller I don't want to be judged or judge anyone on just a previous one article. I mean, look, here's what I'll say, and it's sort of at my political side of my brain. Like, if
other than they quoted her.
No. Hold on. I'm just saying, like, to me in my head, and it's not saying one way or the other, but I also don't like the timing of the situation. So if it's been 2.5 years, why wasn't this brought up in the paper? If in fact true, why didn't it happen a year and a half ago, not during election time? That's the only thing that I can't wrap my head around at this point. But I said the next time I'm on, which is April 30th, I'll do my own investigation, and I will gladly come back and give you my assessment. I mean, I worked in that office. I worked in the office for almost 9 years. So I'll find out really quick how things are going. And if that's true, then, it's not impossible to not be there as the elected official, because if you have the staff to do it. But I don't know how the whole management cycle is. I mean, that's really up to her. And I mean, quite honestly, if we want to talk about elections really quick, and if you got a second, I'm going to change really quick. I mean, we have, I think, 7 candidates for the Lake County Sheriffs. All of them seem to be pretty qualified. What's your thoughts about the Lake County Sheriff? Now, I'm assuming we're not discounting the Republican side of it, but what is your opinion on, what do you think the winning candidate for the sheriff's office is going to get? What % of the vote? If you were to guess, I mean, you've been around, right? What's your guess? The winning.
You mean for
the sheriff's office?
What % of people are going to come out and vote?
No. That's the next question. But what's the winning? So the winning candidate gets what % on election night? When they're reporting it, they're going to report sheriff candidate X is the winner at what %?
Oh, I don't. It's probably going. Well, it's
just a guess. There's no winning prize. Here, I'll give you an option.
Probably.
How about under 35%?
I think maybe about 35, 40%.
Yeah. All right. So 35%. So now take it one step further to the second question. So the winning candidate, whoever that is going to be the sheriff candidate at 35% of the vote of what do you think the voter turnout's going to be? Out of all registered,
probably won't be more than 20, which I mean, I don't really, it's hard to comprehend the level of stupidity in people not to show up and vote.
Understood.
I mean, they just had the election in Hungary. And now it's definitely a higher level. It's I guess, what do you call him, the prime minister or the head of the entire country. Right. But they had over 75% turnout.
Right.
And we don't ever get 20, do we?
Well, you get to 20 in presidential, but I think you're high with this election. So I think, I mean, for county offices, you got the congressman's office that is up but not opposed. What's the highest office then would be? State senator, state rep? But here, it's all going to my point, which personally bothers me, is your winning candidate. I'm not picking on the sheriff's race. I'm just saying because it's a very competitive race. So you're going to have a winner, and God bless them, going to come out of there. I would be shocked if it's more than 35% on a voter turnout of probably less than 20%. I would go probably 18 to 17%. So 17%
right,
of the
about
voters,
where we're at, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, but 17% of the voters have decided what this is, and only 35% of them are voting for that individual. And so my whole thing, quite honestly, has always been either you rank choice them, you have a super runoff or something. To me, it seems sort of unfair that only 35% of the folks are going to decide who that person is. And I mean, like I said, we are blessed with good candidates in this election with the sheriff. I think all of them are good candidates. I know some of them. I don't know others, but they just on their face seem qualified. I know they still have to go through a general election. However, to me, I just think it's weird that you're winning at 35%, or and maybe someone's going to.
Well, you got eight candidates on the ballot, right?
Right, but here you could do that to every race. I mean, every competitive, right?
But it's only the primary though too.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, besides Hank Adams, tell me, I mean, no disrespect to the Republican countywide, but tell me another countywide Republican that can win. Like, I'm certain the Republican candidate for sheriff is a fine individual. Don't know him. Sure, he's a great person or she's a great person. But the reality is the likelihood and the odds are saying they're not going to win. So the winner of the Democratic primary, and I'm just picking on sheriff's race, I don't have a dog in any fight, is just
right.
saying,
It's probably going to win the election.
Yeah, at 35%. So that means 65% of the people have said, yeah, I want someone different. Now, it's just the way the elections are set up here in Indiana, but it's just my personal thing. I just wish there was some other way. Maybe, hell, I'd take 45%. If someone got to 45%, they automatically win. But that's the way it goes. So appreciate the call. We're wrapping up. We're up against the wall here. April 30th is my next time.
Look into the Katona thing, because that's ridiculous, though, man.
I
mean, that's absolutely – you can't run an auditor's office remotely. Because if that's the case, every one of those employees should just stay at home and work from home. Because it's a gigantic scandal, another Democratic black eye, because she tripped on the carpet and dislocated both of her shoulders. What, she gets to show up, doesn't show up for work for 2.5 years? It's like Mervan's dad didn't go to the state senate for 3 years. Spent his time in Florida. He never went to work. I mean, it's insane what we do in this county. Just ridiculous.
Well, thank you very much. Have a good Thursday. Enjoy your Friday. We'll see you on the 30th.
Do a good report on April 30th, bro. I've been listening.
All right. Well, I'm still waiting for applicants for my co-host because Joe's still there. Joe's still waiting for me. We got one more. Let's go with it so we can get out of here. Go ahead, caller. Good morning.
When do the tax? Good morning. When do the tax bills? When are we going to get them?
My understanding is they're in the mail now. They go out in batches. But I can tell you that if you called either the treasurer or the auditor's office, they would have it. Or if you went online on the Lake County website to the treasurer's office, you could see what your tax bill. I know they've been calculated, and I know they're ready, and I know they've been sent out. So it's just a matter of if you don't have a mortgage or if you pay your own taxes, then that they'll be in your mailbox probably soon. I know some people that have had them.
But I think the highest presidential, because I'm a geek on this stuff, I think in history, the highest presidential election turnout for percentage, somewhere around 64%, which is kind of not 75.
No.
And that's all the presidents, 64.
Yeah, I wish more people would. It's very important.
The 36 that don't vote are probably the ones that bitch and
yeah.
Vote. So.
Yeah, that or they have a Facebook page, one of the two. So it's just look, it's not difficult. Just go declare. You declare you're a Republican, declare you're a Democrat. Go vote. And these jobs.
Quick reminder on the language.
Important.
Thank you.
Or did I say something?
Not you.
Oh man, I thought I was in trouble again. Yeah, don't say that word. I got in trouble saying another word. So no, you just have to go out there and vote, and they're important jobs. And as much some people may hate it, they're important. So thank you very much. I appreciate the call. I think
have a great day.
We're done. Thank you. And Joe, it was a pleasure.
Yeah. If you got any last few thoughts or words that you would you'd like to tell the people, and you got 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got back. 2 weeks to April 30th. I put myself on the gun, so I've got to.
You have to be back.
I will be back. I don't know if I'll have a co-host.
I will be here.
You will be here. I will bring you another drink. How about that? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I would love that. That would be awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, I will promise you that drink. Not It's non-alcoholic, so it's good. And
I'm 22. Actually,
I know
I'm at
you're
work
22,
though. I'm at work
and
though.
it's really let's not get carried away. It's 5:45 in the morning when we're starting this, so let's not get too much. And
Put a little hair on your chest before the show starts.
yeah, I would prefer some on my head personally, but I don't think that's going to happen. That left me about when I was about your age, I think. So it's okay. It saves a lot on money and hair product, and I don't really have to comb it. So
My
that's good.
dad is the same way. He's been telling me that I'm
Really?
going to go bald. So I've been
You think
keeping
you're
my
gonna go bald?
I definitely have some male pattern baldness starting to show a little bit. That's why I keep my hair long.
Isn't it your mom's father
That's what I would like to. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And he still has hair. My
So-
mom's dad still has
well, right
hair.
on. Then
So-
then you've got hope, Joe.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to keep it long for as long as
my
possible.
my mom's dad didn't have hair, and I knew from there I was done. So it's just trust me, it's bad. You know what I'm going to do next show? A couple of my Bisonol friends will get a kick out of it. I'm going to bring my senior picture, and the biggest joke is when they show that to people, and I'm sitting at the table right next to them, they're like, "Who is that?" To a mutual friend that didn't go to school with us. No one could ever guess it. Like, no one guesses that is me. So I will bring it. I'm going to we can put it on video,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, we can put it up.
it's pretty terrible, but it is what it is. And so I have hope for you, Joe. I think if your mom's dad has hair, you're gonna be okay. Just keep it going.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to have the electric razor like I do and buzz it every morning.
I tell my barber, I'm like, I never want to see the side of my head again. Like, so I don't go short at all. You'll never see the sides of my head again. The way you guys see my hair now is how my hair is going to be until it literally falls out.
You got some good flow.
Thank you.
I like it. I wish I had it, but I'm okay. I've lived with this for 40 years, so it's okay.
There you go.
I'm in.
All right. Well, with that being said, that will wrap up the morning show with Dan Repay. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. All 200 of you guys that tune in on YouTube, continue to do so. Tell your friends, tell your family, whoever you guys want to hear this show. Tell them to call in. The phone lines are always open. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We, as a duo, will catch you guys on the 30th. But other than that, stay tuned for tomorrow. We got Region Rundown with Bob and Brent, and Lynette will be your host, so you will not see me tomorrow. But other than that, again, have a good one, you guys. It's lovely getting to speak with all of you guys. Goodbye.